All right, check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, seems fine. Excellent. All right, so now we'll take off this ticking clock. So I actually, it's interesting. I use this one YouTube clock from something called Sound So Soothing. It's 8 hours of this one ticking sound. It's got the like a pocket watch clock on it and all that kind of stuff. I've been using it pretty much since I started using this new setup that I have here. And I've only used about 2 hours and 49 minutes of it out of the 8 hour set. And I think that's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of time to use. I think it might have been accidental at some point. But I just thought it was interesting. It's like, oh, so much 2 hours of 2 hours of TikTok time used to get there. Okay, so hello and welcome to Kasara's Casual Corner. I am Kasara. Happy New Year to all, and welcome to what should usually have been a Monday co-op stream. However, as needs must, sometimes we just need a break, and so we discussed it, and we're like, yeah, you know what? I need to take off Friday anyway, so let's just move my Friday to Monday, and we'll call it there. Hello and welcome to K Dog. Hi. How are you? I hope you're doing well. And Drake, of course, I know you're resting. Um, yes, Drake owes me for little faith in my skills and being able to actually get at least semi presentable in 5-10 minutes or less, which is a skill set. Not gonna lie, it's actually not an easy skill set, and I'm not even sure I got all of it. I almost forgot to put a microphone on my thing, so he's not wrong. Okay, so we are playing Kentucky Road Zero. I've actually streamed this, I think, 3 or 4 times up to this point. We still haven't gotten all of it. We finished all of the acts except for the fifth one, and then we repeated all of the acts except for 4 and 5. So we have 3 more parts of the game to play, and I don't even know where to begin. How to describe where we currently are in the stream of this game for anyone that's just joining and has not joined us up to this point. Well, Kentucky Route Zero is described on their store page as a magical realist adventure about a secret highway running through the caves beneath Kentucky and the mysterious folks who traveled it. We've discussed with we worked through a whole lot of different characters and a whole lot of different personalities and quirks and all that kind of stuff. And all of them are interconnected in this game, just not necessarily in the way that you would think they would be interconnected in this game. I remember Karma, when I first started this, Karma came in at the beginning and he said, this is an episodic game, kind of like King's Quest was for Sierra, right? However, if you played this game when it first came out, you would receive them episodically. So you wouldn't really remember, unless you replayed it, what happened in the previous chapter. Much to I guess, I'm not even going to say the surprise, but to be perfectly honest, I was going to forget most of it anyway. The life is very busy. But I can't remember who connected with where. At the beginning, we started with Connor, and we named the dog Blue because, honestly, it looked like a blue, or she looked like a blue, and I was in a Wolf's Rain mood anyway. So we played, still waiting for the YouTube to be updated. I've actually I've added some YouTube to it. I've updated everything that was a single game, and my VR recordings, so those are fun. So if you haven't seen any updates, check again. I have added some new videos, though not all of them. I have I think like 3 or 4 games that have like multiple parts that I haven't uploaded yet, and that's about it. But anything that's single played, already uploaded. I think maybe except for one. We start off with Conway, who and we with Blue delivering from an antique store. We bumped into Shannon, who was looking for Weaver, who we had just previously talked to, who happened to be a mathematician. We bumped into Emily and Rose and Mara, who all of them had worked with Lulu Chamberlain, who had worked with Weaver. All of them describing the Zero. To be perfectly honest, even if I tried to kind of recap what we did, that's about as good as it's going to get. So let me read it one more time. Here we go. At twilight in Kentucky, as bird songs give way to choir and frogs and familiar roads, it's easy to get lost. Those who are lost may find their way to a secret highway winding through the underground caves. People who live and work along this highway are themselves a little strange at first, but soon seem familiar. The aging driver making the last delivery for a doomed antique shop. The young woman who fixes obsolete televisions, surrounded by ghosts. The child and his giant eagle companion, robot musicians, invisible power company lurking everywhere, and the threadbare communities who struggle to get against its grip. And to be perfectly honest, that's about as good a summation as I'm probably even capable of giving myself. So, hopefully that helped out a little bit. Let's go ahead and get our game going in the Kentucky Route Zero. You're lost? Good. You can actually join the rest of us who have been playing this game since the beginning, equally just as lost. You just won't know who the characters are. Oh, I need to actually change my stream elements. I need to get that off. I'm going to turn my fan on. So basically, we are playing a whole bunch of vignettes. I described it to Carmen when he came in last. These feel like vignette stories. Small stories that interconnect with each other on the highway. If anyone's ever read Almost Maine, the play, it's literally like that, but for Kentucky as opposed to Maine. All right, so we are at the end of Act 3. We're going to continue from where we left off here. And here we go. Here, there, along the echo, complete. So we're going to go into Chapter 4. If you have not been keeping up with what this game is about, or watched the rest of my streams, the gist is we are looking for the Zero. We come upon a plethora of many characters, all with a variety of quirks and quibbles that interconnect themselves on this highway. I don't think the story is supposed to be a plot. It's not like Broken Age where there's a beginning, middle, and end. It's not like my other streams. This is a story that literally does this. It literally winds and weaves, and one part comes in and mixes with another part comes in with another part over here. Follow just kind of the story that we're about to encounter, and we go from there. So, I hope that helps. Let's start up Chapter 4, Act 4 of Kentucky Route Zero. Manual 5.4 Context Background. I forgot I turned up the stream for the lemon cake game the other day. This better? My bad, I forgot that we streamed on Saturday. Okay, better? Okay, good. Let me know if it still bothers, but I turned it down actually quite a bit. Manual 5.4 Context Backlash. General wear on the gestural gear mounting apparatus 5A 1 may result in undesirable play between teeth and the context and history state machine gears, causing stuttering, slippage, resetting, skipping. We have now met a new character, Will. Will's choices are, guess it could be slippage, or, well, all this is not helpful. I'll take choice 1. Well, guess it could be slippage. Manual continues. If left unresolved, gear slop can gradually throw limbs out of alignment, bend motions, and decontextualize gestures. See also Section 1.8 General Troubleshooting and 5.3 Gesture Context. Choice 1, troubleshooting. Okay. Choice 2, gesture context. Choice 3, okay. What else is in here? I'd probably go with that one first. Manual, table of contents. 0, introduction. 1, installation. 2, orientations. 4, order of operations. 3, the passage of time. 5, gestures. 6, final notes. It does seem a little odd as far as a book is concerned for its table of contents. Choice 1, that'll do book, and throws it into the river, which seems likely. 2, must be missing a page or something. Choice 3, I ought to read it from back to front. My choice, throw it in the river. That'll do book, and throws a manual into the river. My savior! Our friend is here in a bad way. Any insight? Alright. How many people came here asking for their cake? Everyone. Though technically speaking, if we really do look at still at my call sign there, it says Kisara's Casual Corner is open. Bring cake, not ask for cake. Bring it with you to the casual corner, right? Maybe cookies, crumpets, crepes, or croissants, but definitely cake. Bring cake. I do not have to provide the cake. The cake is inherent in the system. Pedra. How are you, Pedra? I hope you're doing well. We just met a new character, Will, and we're talking now to Junebug, who just came up, who was the musician in the last chapter. So Will says, "Oh, my savior, our friend is here in a bad way. Any insight?" Let's see. They're talking about the mammoth, by the way. Junebug's choices are, I try to stay clear of high voltage these days, or time to put that mammoth out to pasture, Will. Aww, but he looks like it wants to be a good foghorn. Okay, so let's do Junebug's, I try to stay clear of high voltage these days. Will responds, I don't blame you, especially down here on the water. I mean, sure, it's dangerous, but this is where she lives. And what brings you down the Echo tonight? Alright, Junebug's choices are, I just tagging along, or I always end up here eventually. Interesting. She's currently just tagging along, but I'm curious as to about that second choice. Just tagging along. Says Will. That doesn't sound like you. Question 1. What does that mean? Or, her choice 2. We dragged some folks to a show, just returning the favor. That's what we did in chapter 3, and that's what I'm going to answer. I'm sure your new friends appreciate the company. It's no shame to be lonesome. We picked you up at the bureau tonight. Never seen you that far upriver before. I mean, I hope that doesn't mean you've been traveling on the Zero. Junebug's choices are, yeah, have you been there? The Zero? You know, the place we've been looking for this whole story time? Or her second choice, the bureau has great acoustics. Calix, hi, how are you? Early stream today? On Mondays I usually stream a little earlier because usually we do a tag team stream. I'm just streaming at my normal time today. But no tag team for today because Drake needs a rest from work. But welcome. So I'm playing one of my games that I was going to play this week. Welcome in. We're playing Kentucky Road Zero. This is part 4 of the series that we've played so far. So it's going to be a long one. And if you're confused when I continue playing the game, that's okay. It's okay. It'll be fine. But yeah, thank you for coming in. I hope you are having a wonderful start to your new year. Let's check out the Kentucky Route Zero. Welcome to the performance, by the way. So this, I was telling some people before, this is very much more performance. So I'll see the chat, but I may take a second for the response so I can get the flow of things going. I give fair warning. So we're asking about the zero because this whole game we've been looking for the zero. Will, this character over here, says, "Oh no, no, not me. This old river rat steers cleared of weird highways. I've been traveling this river for more than half of my life, more or less, alone. I think I've seen it change quite a bit in all those years, but I can't say for sure. The water has a particular way of making a person forgetful. Some nights I remember a place, but it's full of strange new people. Some nights I meet an old friend in an unfamiliar shore. I wonder what kind of night it is." All right. So we're on the river. This is Act 4, Scene 1. Hopefully it's not the 3-hour version. The Mucky Mammoth is the title of this episode here. If there's another 3-hour stream, I'm gonna be lost. Okay, so we can talk to Will on this side, or we can talk to Kate. I don't think we've met Kate yet, so let's talk to Kate. What drink is that? This is a grapefruit drink. This is a grapefruit soda. Well, actually, it's a grapefruit flavor. No, it's a grapefruit juice in club soda. Or seltzer water, however you want to call it. Alright, so let's talk to Kate. A grapefruit drink. Exactly, K-Dog. So Kate says, she's up top, I believe. "How's that cold river spray treating you? I thought I saw you squinting. It's hard water, you know, hard on the eyes. It still irritates mine a little, and I'm piloting a tugboat through 6 nights a week. Don't be too shy to close them in public. Your eyes, I mean. People will just assume you're thoughtful. You need tea? So, Agrozibe agredita, definitely. Peppermint, dried spring agricus, milk thistle, and dried reishi." Shannon, who we've been playing since Act 1, Part 1, she says, "Choice 1, what are all those for? Or how far are we from Dogwood Fry?" I want to know about the herbs, because if she's going to give me tea, I should know about the herbs. So Shannon says, "What are all those for?" "I strain dried spring agaricus, mask the tastes of the rest of it. Dried reishi, in particular, has an eccentric flavor profile. It's mushroom-based. I'm a big believer in fungal pharmacy." I actually can agree with that. Oh my god, the mushroom tea, shaga tea is absolutely delightful. I love it. It's expensive, but totally delicious. I love shaga mushroom tea. Okay. Shannon's choices are, how far are we from Dogwood Drive? How's the water looking tonight? And is that your dog? First off, we always talk about the dog. Dogs are cute. Is that your dog? Yeah, that's Valkyrie. I call her Val. She's a rescue. Isn't she dignified? I've always thought so. And there's a cat below deck? Is this Wednesday and Xander? Is that your cat below deck? Huh? I thought that was your cat. He came on board with you at the bureau. Well, it wouldn't be the first time some strange animal hitched a ride. I hope you enjoy our little trip on Little Mammoth. Take advantage of all the amenities. Fresh air, cold debunks, hot tea, the video room. There are some pretty interesting tapes down there, actually. Unusual, I mean. Weird. Watch out that the VCR doesn't take your hand off, though. It's untrustworthy. Shannon, who is the one that repairs television sets, can say, "What's wrong with the VCR? I could take a look." Or, "What kind of weird tapes?" Well, Shannon in character probably would be more interested in fixing things, so... "What's wrong with the VCR? I could take a look." "Oh, please do. I don't know anything about electronics. Maybe try a few different tapes? You'll get the picture." "Oh, hey, do me a favor. Go ask Will how the repairs are going and if he needs anything. We're coming up on the next stop here. Just refueling and picking up a few things. I could grab a bolt or a wire or something. Whatever he needs." Well, eyes on the road. Which is funny because we're on a river. I suddenly have no attention span. I did warn. This is not the stream where this is a game not really conducive to like super engaging. It's heavy story. Very heavy story. So I am giving you more of a theatrical performance today than I usually do. Don't you worry, K-Dog. It is totally okay. Alright, so we need to talk to Will. Also, I think you guys came in at the middle of it, which is really hard to come into a middle of the theater. Alright, we'll still talk to Will, though this mammoth is really cool. In bright green. Though I feel like this is the same guy that was playing the organ. Anyway. And that's blue over here. Will, he's singing quietly. "For we all mold and whiskey and..." Oh, but he sees Shannon and he says, "Oh, wet gears." She can respond, "Wet gears?" Because what does that even mean? Or two, "Did you build this thing?" I'm going to say wet gears. Pedro says to K-Dog, "You missed the alien skeletons." Yeah, that was another stream. It was very interesting, and the Pedro called it. Will responds after wet gears, "Probably. Who knows? The first thing I tried, anyway. Down here, by this little blue box. I took all the gears out and dried each one by hand. Then I loaded them back in again. That took care of the grinding sound, but her trunk keeps doing that sparking, clanking, weeping thing. To be honest with you, I'm not really qualified for this work. Kate's a friend, and you know how it is, don't you?" You know how it is. Shannon can say choice 1. Kate was asking if you needed anything when we stopped. 2. How do you know each other? 3. What's your story, Will? I am uninterested in the last two. So Kate said, find Will. Shannon responds, Kate was asking if you needed anything when we stopped. Will says, I don't know, scratch ticket? Let's see. I think she meant like parts or sure okay or how do you two know each other? Don't care. I think she meant like parts or oh, I wouldn't know if I did. Because again, he's not cut out for this work. How do you and Kate know each other? So, ever walk through rolling farmland? No, just drove, I guess. Right, nobody does it until it's their land to farm. I mean, they'll walk from barn to tractor or tractor to truck, you know. Well, I sure did. Slipped under or over fences, and I walked barefoot with the seeds when they were just planted and tilled the earth with my toes. Oh, hey, I should tell you where I left my shoes. Did you know? I'm a classically trained organist. Oh, it's just, Pedro! I did say at the beginning, I said he looks like the organ player, and he is. Though, technically speaking, he didn't actually exist in that moment. He was more of an ephemeral kind of vision because achievements. You get the idea. Anyway, he's a classically trained organist that we saw in the bureau. Did you know I'm a classically trained organist? It's true. Look at these long fingers and pedal gripping toes. Doesn't matter. A minor in French literature earned me a position teaching Art to Zola at the university. Well, some crappy governor cut state funding for our department, and I was demoted to mopping floors, running wiring through the walls, or in dangerous places. I even operated the soundboard at the student theater. I left my shoes there, at the university. It was a protest. Walk without shoes for something important or tragic. I ended up by the shore, and as soon as I was drifting along the Echo, it ran for a while above ground, and then it just doesn't anymore. But I prefer subterranean waters anyway, and Kate brings me along, and I record what I see and hear and try to help with maintenance. I drop off the mail, I pick up the trash, and on occasion, I take up the helm. Anyway, that's all I try to remember anymore. I listen to the river's stories, and my own stories get fainter and fainter. Well, I'll just keep trying years, I guess. Ezra, though I keep calling him Urza like he's a fairy tale character. My bad, Urza. Ezra runs up to Shannon. Whoa, 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 slow down on deck. Do you have batteries? Says Ezra. Yeah, of course. What for? Johnny said I could use his tape recorder, but it needs a battery. Oh, fun. Well, Shannon searches her pockets. Here's 4 different kinds. Surely one of these should fit. Oh, awesome. Thank you, says Ezra. And then he runs away. No, he doesn't. We walk. Oh, Shannon leaves, and now Ezra can talk to Will. This will go fun. All right, you got your batteries, small man. Go get you some tape. All right, where is tape? Where is tape? Is tape in here? Is tape in there? Is tapey everywhere? They seek him here. They seek him there. Alright, so I guess we're going inside the building now. Inside the boots. Alright, Ezra goes inside the boat. And we open up to see... Oh look, there's the stowaway kitty cat. Okay. And suddenly there are musicians in this place. Where are we? Alright, so we came from the bureau, we got on the boat, and now we're here. So let's go talk to the musicians as Ezra. Johnny. Oh, right, the musicians just meant Johnny and Junebug. Duh. Really? You were entranced. You don't remember this? Says Junebug. Clara says, it's okay. We've seen lots of concerts. Alright, and then Cyrano opened. His tape machine was broken or something. It got really cosmic. Right at the flower shop. I remember that show. Sorry, Clara. Well, you have a second chance to hear it tonight. Johnny says to Ezra, oh, hey, that was fast. Got batteries? Let's see. Perfect. This one will do. So, you hit the button here to record. You hold it right here so you don't cover the microphone with your hand. I bet you'll find a lot of good sound just around the tugboat. There's plenty of tape in there, so don't be stingy with it. Just record anything that catches your ear. It really changes the way you listen. For the better, I mean. Let's see. So Ezra can say, how long is the trip? Or, are you playing a concert tonight? I could record that. Interesting. Tape. Exactly. The tape from Act 1, Part 2. Sudden music in quiet video game is not a good sign. No, not always, but I don't think we've really experienced too many jump scares in this game. How are you, Pretty of Time? It's good to have you in. Welcome to Kasara's Casual Corner. Choking. I needed to bring my own cake. Welcome to Kasara's Casual Corner. We are playing Kentucky Route Zero, part 4. Alright, so he says to Clara, oh, are you playing a concert tonight? I could record that. Yeah, says Junebug. Clara came out here all the way from Lithuania just to do this Echo Wigger gig. It's a tour. Tomorrow I'll be in Nashville, and then Atlanta, and then over to the coast. Brutal, says Junebug. Well, we're lucky she's making a stop. Johnny and I saw her play once, and I remember loving it. And Johnny was moved. Pedro asked, "Do we have sober Prinny today?" Don't worry, sober Prinny loves everybody also. He said so himself yesterday in drunken state. Johnny says, "Speaking of Cyrano, it's his night at the rum colony. Kate said she usually stops off there." Well, that's ideal. I'm supposed to meet a lady there to look at some old engine parts about 3 hours ago. 3 hours goes fast in rum colony, man. I bet she's still there. Oh, I hope we don't stop there too long. My concert is soon. I don't want to keep them waiting. Nah, says Junebug, dismissing it. It's river time. Nobody expects you to be punctual. Johnny says to Urza, "Hey, why don't you give that tape recorder a try? See if that cat over there has anything it wants to say." I often use found sounds in my music. If you find some interesting sounds tonight, you can help me out. Found sounds is actually kind of interesting. Told you I can hold myself accountable. Yep. I believe it. So let's record the cat. Here's Conway with his new skeleton leg and arm. When did he get when did he do that? This cat meowing on cue seems unrealistic to me. Cats meow when they want, not when you're asked them to. Oh, that's the game. I thought it was my cat at the door. No. All right, so now we have Will. Will's coming out onto the deck as we travel along the Echo. And we'll talk to Conway. Conway with the new arm and leg. He says, "You know, it's the strangest thing. I can't remember why I came up here." Shannon's choices, since she's the one that rushed him to a doctor to get his leg healed. Fresh air, choice 1. Neither can I, choice 2. Choice 3, maybe you should slow down. Fresh air. Everyone always goes up to the deck for fresh air. That's always the first thought. Maybe. It's homey in that cabin, though, and warm. It's just that thing about, what was it? When you walk through a door, when you go into the kitchen for something, and as soon as you pass into one room to the other, you forget what you wanted. You have to walk back out just to remember. You left a part of your brain behind. I wonder if I could follow that brain crumb trail all the way back to the room I was born in. Conway cranes his neck over the railing. Looks cold down there. And dark. You weren't in the cabin long, getting you sleep? Let's see. She can say, "Just resting my eyes, I had a weird dream," or "You found beer." All for Prinny. We'll take choice 3. Shannon responds, "You found beer." Oh. Connor says, "Yeah, there's a cooler full down there, and they say it just floated by, as if you can believe that. Got caught on some netting, and they hauled it on board. A bounty. Anyway, there's a sign by the cooler. Take what you need and leave the rest." Shannon leaves over the railing and looks at the river below. Let's see. There's all kind of trash down there. It does look cold, doesn't it? Or did you see Urza go in? Ezra. Poor Ezra. Anyone who's ever named Ezra and is around me, I am sorry. I will probably say it wrong, and it's Fairy Tale's fault. It does look cold, doesn't it? Yeah, better keep that kid away from the edge. A person could easily fall in, and he's been exploring. Let's see. He seems to keep himself entertained. Choice 2. It's good for him. It's important to know how to be alone. What's up, huh? You look like there's something you want to ask. Fine. You can ask it. One question. So her choices are, "I thought you didn't drink," which we learned in chapter 2, or "Do you really have to go work at Hard Times?" Now for that question, we're going to do a quick recap here. In the last episode, in order to, he got duped, which was maddening. Pedro and I were very upset. It was we went out to go find something to clean off a computer, and the computer and the alien skeletons there did not listen to us one bit when we said we did not want to work, and then they tricked him. And I know they tricked him because they took away my mouse privileges. I wasn't allowed to use the mouse to tell him, don't do it, don't do it. And now he owes them money, and he's an indentured servant to Hard Times Whiskey, the place that buys everyone's debts into indentured servitude. Alien skeletons. Do you really have to go work at Hard Times? Didn't seem so bad, did it? It's a way to live. I mean, rent a bed, eat at the cafeteria. Not like I have a choice. I think you do have a choice. I've got to repay my debt. Heck, I should be grateful for the opportunity. If you want to die with any dignity, you've got to settle up. That's why it's a darn shame when people go so sudden. That is a thought process, and I don't agree. Accept it. Tommy is fine. He sleeps a lot, except when I use the bathroom. Suddenly, he's right at the door for some reason. Oh, look, we're on the Echo River. Inside the weird thing. I'm sure I talk too much. Everyone on this river does. The problem is that we listen twice as much as that. We're only telling half the stories we hear. Kate told me that I ought to have been a photographer. She said, you have an uncanny way of having been in the place at the time the thing happened. And that's the hardest part about taking a photograph anyway. Nice of her to say, but it isn't true. Though I know just about every story on this river. Most of them I picked up the second, third, or fourth time, and so on. Listening, see? Now I know what you're going to ask, so I'm going to answer it. Yes, I'm sure they're all true. I personally believe a story gets more true as it's tossed around from brain to brain, and the whole community brings their insight to bear on brittle facts of experience. There are a few echo stories I witnessed directly. I saw that big owl migration pass through. You might have heard about that. I was there when the old train station flooded. I saw the ghost of Stephen Bishop brew up a batch of white lightning on a raft. Or anyway, I talked to a few sailors who'd recently crossed paths with him, and I suspect sampled some of his wares. One night, I was working on the Mucky Mammoth, and we picked up a gaggle of passengers headed down to a mail drop by the silo of Late Reflections. I knew a couple of them in passing, of traveling musicians whom I often encountered on the river. Others were strangers to me at the time. A young woman, a small boy, an old man whose name I didn't catch. Oh, and a smelly old dog. We docked at the gas station so the Mammoth could refuel. So here we go. We're at the gas station. I am going to move my mouse around real quick. Give me 1 second. I apologize for the banging. I don't think I need my keyboard. I couldn't remember if I did or not. Alright, though, that's way better. I like not straining to go this way. Alright, so let's see. Urza stayed on the tugboat and looked around the map room, or he followed Junebug and Johnny into the gas station. Ah. So the question is, do we want to stay on the tugboat, or do we want to go into the gas station? Which story do we want to see today? Or at least maybe see first? Take a sip. Let's stay on the tugboat. Look around the map. Map room. Act 4, Scene 2. The Mucky Mammoth. Let's see, so Ezra stays here. He's with the dog. Prinny wants the gas station. I didn't even think of that. We do a lookout. Ezra watches the lake drift by as he sees. I also didn't want to do like 3 different voices at that moment. And he sees a rock covered with turtles, a floating gas station, a waterlogged flock of bats, a bobbing, overturned umbrella covered with green fogs. Kate says, "What a relief. Thanks for taking the wheel. Our secret, okay?" Ezra has lots of questions. He says, "How do you know which way to turn?" Or, what does this dial mean? Or, what does this lever do? Or, what's in that jug? It smells like eggs and fruit. Oh, that's her homemade fermented green tea, pomegranate seeds, and a little bit of barley ergot. I call it kekion kombucha. It helps keep me awake. Want to try some? No, I guess you probably don't. The smell is off-putting, but it's actually sweet and lightly carbonated. I'm trying to kick a diet soda habit. So, how'd you do at the helm? I guess we're going to ask all the questions. Let's see. What does this lever do? That controls the winch. If we need a little more slack on our hull or something. I should have proudly explained that to you earlier, huh? We look outside and she says, "Oh, hey, there's a gas station. I was hoping we'd cross paths soon." It just kind of drifts around, you'll never know when you'll meet it. As you can see by this dial right here, our fuel situation is pretty desperate. I have a habit of letting that needle spend a lot of time in the red zone. We should only be docked at the gas station for a few minutes for fueling. You might want to stay aboard. So, you like boats? Ezra has choices. He says, "I used to watch a cartoon about a boat. Yeah, my dad had a boat for a while, or I've never been on a boat before." Each of these choices are distinctly different. Let's go with the cartoon. I used to watch a cartoon about a boat. Let's see. It was about pirates. I'm making choices at random. Let's see. They were lost at sea. They were all dog pirates. One of them was a parrot, but he acted like a normal parrot. Okay, all of these are exactly like the kind of cartoons I would absolutely watch. They were all dogs. So here you go. He says, "I used to watch a cartoon about a boat. It was about pirates. They were all dogs, dog pirates, and one of them was a parrot, but he acted like a normal parrot." That sounds great. I'll have to look out for that one. So, what else did I neglect to explain earlier? Oh, this here is called the wheelhouse. All the gauges and controls help me understand what's going on with the monkey mammoth and her hull. This is a compass, but it doesn't work very well down here, for some reason. I just go by landmarks, basically, and lights. Do you see those 2 lights on the side of the boat? A red one and a green one? All the other boats have them too, and some are different colors, or in different configurations. If we cross paths with someone, right away I can work out what kind of boat they're in and what direction they're going, even in the dark. It's all about looking up here. The other half of piloting this boat happens down in the map room. Speaking of which, Kate peers out the window. Have we passed a big rock that looks like a dinosaur yet? Let's see. All of them are no, but let's see. A little island with a bunch of ducks on it, tall building covered in Christmas lights, or a huge cliff with a bunch of words painted on it. I like ducks. They're very cute. No, but we passed an island with a bunch of ducks on it. Oh yeah, Duck Island, named after that nasty old hermit called Edgar Duck, who put a claim on it many years ago and tried to build a house there. I heard he didn't have a bed or a kitchen, but used all his material on a fence. He used to blast an air horn if anyone drifted too close. He eventually died, but the name stuck, and at some point, ducks moved in. Maybe people dropped them off there, I don't know. That's weird. Should have definitely passed Dinosaur Rock by now. Kate looks out the window. Oh, wait, there it is, up ahead, see? Either that doesn't look like the dinosaur, or wow, that's my new favorite rock. And as an actor, I'm always for the affirmative. Wow, that's my new favorite rock. Great idea for a 76 base. Just use all your materials for an air horn and a fence. It's great, right? So what was your old favorite kind of rock? I don't remember Ezra ever saying anything particular about rocks in his family. So I think that this particular set of choices is okay. to pick randomly. A big rock behind the woods by myself was really, really big. A little rock I found that looked like a rainbow when you held it in the sunlight. Or a rock my aunt got in the mail from Arizona. It was bright green and said it had good energy. I refuse. A little rock I found that looked like a rainbow when you held it in sunlight. Oh, that's cool. It's strange, though. According to my charts, we should have passed Dinosaur Rock before Duck Island. Ah, but that's okay. Sometimes charts need updating. Let's see. I fixed the Moobot. Did I? Yay, I did! Yay, go me! Go team! Go team, go! I guess. I definitely made sure that it was Kentucky Route Zero and not Lemon Cake today. Let's see. Kate continues, hey, Will is down in the map room right now. Could you run down and help him adjust the charts to move Duck Island so it comes a little earlier en route than Dinosaur Rock? The map room is just below the deck, on the lower level, right next to the sleeping quarters. I'll get on the intercom and let him know you're coming. Alright, so we're gonna tape record. The tape records the cat purring. We just play it. It's a cool sound. No, had no idea it was borked. No clue. Let's see. An unsteady theremin is playing. Oh god. Please no. No theremins. Oh, we can talk to Conway real quick. Conway says, hey. What's up? Let's see. Going below deck to look at maps. Oh, maps. Oh yeah, I bet they got a lot of them down there. Yeah, you probably need maps to travel by boat. Myself, personally, I don't use them. I read the signs and I remember the roads, landmarks. Or I ask for directions if I'm going somewhere I've never been before. That's okay, to ask for directions. Remember that, kid. No shame in asking for directions. Remember that, everybody. No shame in asking for directions. Drake's link was messed up. Oh, was it? Oh, I had no idea. I didn't do anything different. It worked out. Perfect. Oh, good. They're playing a theremin. My favorite. Oh, good. It's someone that's not really playing it. Ah! Shannon, stop. Oh, she's still going. She says, wow, this is harder than it looks. Yeah, it takes a certain kind of ear. Kasara, stop being sus. I'll try. Shannon says, oh, like perfect pitch? Do you have that? Not really that. It's more like muscle memory. When I'm playing the theremin, I can kind of hear with my hands. It must sound ridiculous. No, I think I get it. Then stop playing. Perfect pitch is when like a note plays and you can identify it immediately. Not a lot of people actually have perfect pitch. Relative pitch, which is equivalent to what she was saying, is pretty much what she has. Kisara's favorite instrument? I refuse. Mad, hey! Happy New Year, man. How's it going? Good to see you. Kisara's not favorite instrument. Not at all. No. Where are you going? We're going to the map. No, we're going to the map room. Oh, the map room was this way. Like this. Just kidding. The theremin is world's greatest instrumenty. Yeah. For some. It can be interesting of an instrument, no doubt about that. But Shannon's playing it badly, and it hurts. Okay. So now we're playing Kentucky Road Zero. This is part 4. We're in Act 4. So I think this is actually part 5. So part 5 of a multi-part series in Kentucky Route Zero. It's been a wild ride of story, so let's see what we can come up with. So Ezra's going to talk to Will. Will says, salutations, small man. Kate says you have an adjustment for our charts. Good timing. I was just checking my copies. That's how we keep charts up to date. As we pass through a section of the river or lake, I draw a new copy of the map, make adjustments for anything that doesn't match. Will points to a small drawing on the map. So, this is where we have Dinosaur Rock mapped right now. This little dinosaur drawing. I drew that. Now, what kind of dinosaur is it? Oh, you know, just a dinosaur. Will points to another small drawing on the map. And this here is where we thought Duck Island was, but now I guess we gotta move it back a bit. But how far, I wonder? Any ideas? Anything else you remember when you saw Duck Island? Oh, that theremin is playing through the walls. Yes, the Kentucky Route Zero saga. K-Dog says, I've been lost since the moment Kasara went live. This is not a game to actually be able to jump into, though I appreciate you sticking with it there, K-Dog. I really, really do. Just kind of get an idea that we're on a river and this is a small story. Let's see. Ezra says the water got really dark for a bit, or another boat passed around Duck Island, the sailboat with a painting of a fish on a sail, or I saw the clock. We passed Duck Island 6 minutes before the rock. How about the water got really dark? That seems more likely for Ezra. Aha! We'll put that duck in Duck Island somewhere here. That's the only part of the chart that Dinosaur Rock where the lake deepens noticeably. Oh, good work. That should do for the new copy. Oh, I made some other corrections. Tucked in the banks a little, made the section deeper, left off a shipwreck that must have washed away or been scavenged into splinters. Of course, it means a lot of clutter, all these old copies. Say, Will gestures to a pile of old maps. I was just about to throw this stack out. Maybe you'd like to hang on to one. They are out of date, but it could be fun to look at. These are mostly river charts, I think. Take a look through, see if one of them catches your eye. Let's see. We're digging through the pile of maps. Let's see. He can see an old faded, crisp, clean, or rough torn. Rough torn. We'll turn it around, like... There you go. There's no real idea of north down here, magnetic or otherwise, so we just hold the maps with the current pointing down. The edges of the map are torn into gentle strips, probably by an idle hand or an absent mind. Oh yeah, I remember that day. Slow currents, boring. Not that I mind it. It's healthy to get a little bored sometimes. A long tear runs in a clockwise curve along the paper, through the middle of the river, and the two sides are held together by paper clips woven into the paper like stitches. Let's see, faded map. No. The river curves clockwise around a few small islands. The note is scribbled along the margin. Note, islands just below the surface only visible under bright light. Where they come and go, the islands that is. I still mark them if I see them. Alright, let's check out the crisp, clean map. Mad says, I mean, what is north anyway? How do we know that this north exists anyway? Yeah. What is north? What is round? Will says, oh, that one I found wrapped in plastic. Quite well preserved. I wrapped it up like that so the chalk wouldn't smear. I must have lost my pencil that day. I don't remember. The river curves clockwise. There are no islands marked, but a few other landmarks indicated with chalk circles. Pointing to a chalk circle, Will says, that one was Dark Island, I'm pretty sure. You know, I think I like the faded old map. Nice. Well, thanks for your help with the chart adjustments. Our next stop on the bar is called Rum Colony. Well, I guess you're not much of a barfly, but you might like to run around on the beach. And the decor is, well, I'd be curious to hear what you think of it. Alright, so we got the maps adjusted. The gas station isn't anchored to anything. It follows the current. Oh, sorry, mail. We might run into it anywhere along the river. Kate just starts looking for it when she's low on fuel, and the Echo provides. It's not usually on the lake, though. That was strange. Kate likes to wait till the very last minute to refuel.
Yeah, she's a thrill seeker and you'd never guess it. She seems so centered, doesn't she? I've always thought maybe that's why she enjoys rocking the boat a little. She knows she can just stay upright through a little bad weather, so she can just relax and enjoy the chaos. I admire her confidence. But there was plenty of chaos to go around that night. With that ugly storm upstairs, though we didn't know to the extent of flood damage at that point. Anyway, my mechanical musician friends went ashore for a bit looking for some snack foods. Kate doesn't stock anything aboard the Mucky Mammoth that doesn't grow wild, and it's not to everyone's taste. Or maybe just to stretch their limbs and charge their batteries. Let's see, came back looking refreshed, or they came back looking confused? Let's try confused. I don't mean confused like, not like when someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, but you feel like you should, and you get kind of that alarmed blankness in your eye. Not like that. They look confused like when you see two kinds of motor oil and they cost the same, and you've never heard of either of them, and you read all the text on both packages, but all that new information just makes the choice seem more impossible. You might be inclined to flip a coin, but how could you with something that important? Naturally, I assumed they meant the gas station attendant, a man as anonymous and itinerant as the place itself. I assumed he talked their ear off, as everyone on this river does, but I know that fellow well enough to know he wouldn't want us reminiscing on him now. So they came back aboard, Mammoth refueled, and we ambled on toward the rum colony. Coin? Flip a coin? Yes. Nothing like gambling with your stuff. Shannon retreated to the TV room to browse the Mammoth's video collection, or Shannon followed the other travelers ashore to the drowsy beachside called the Rum Colony. You know what? We've been on this boat forever, so let's go to the Rum Colony, the beachside shore. I can already foresee this being another 3-hour chapter. Pedro, I think that's where Kentucky Route Zero is no joke. The Rum Colony, Act 4, Scene 3. You could gamble with someone else's stuff. Cheers to that. You could gamble with someone else's stuff. Take notes. Okay. We'll talk to these guys first. Johnny says, "Yep, sounds like him." Junebug says to Shannon, "Our friend Cyrano is booked here tonight. He's pretty good." "He's a wizard at the lap steel guitar." Let's see. Are you two coming ashore, or how much time do you think we have here? Oh, no. The first one. "Hey, are you two coming ashore?" "Oh, sure. We'll be up in a minute." "You couldn't hold me back." "Oh, I don't know." Kate says just to wander back whenever and take this is a take it easy kind of stop. She doesn't even blow the foghorn to round up the crew here. No point. Something about this spot is like wax in the ear when it comes to timetables and responsibilities. I was supposed to meet someone here earlier tonight about some bike parts. Hope she's still around. "Oh, I'm sure she is, ma'am, half sleeping in the fragrant mug with the other wayward sailors." She was talking about that earlier when we started the stream. Someone sleeping on the beach. It's a pretty quaint beach. Bureau, folks. Cyrano plays a woozy lap steel guitar music. Lewis, he's yelling, "The water is fine! Invigorating! Makes me want to run! I could gallop up and down this beach like a horse!" Clerk Burm, if anyone remembers stream number 3, to Mechstein, he says, "What's he yelling about?" Clerk Mechstein says, "He wants to run on the beach like a horse," he says. To Shannon, she says, "Oh, dear. What's in these drinks?" Let's see. "You folks work at the Bureau." "Ah, we're celebrating," says Clerk Burm. Mechton says, "We just hit a big milestone, you know." Those torches are doing wonders for the ambulance. It's actually very pretty on this beach. The clerks both pause, waiting for the other to speak. Clerk Burm says, "Well, Tell her about it.
Matchstein says, I don't know anything more than you. It wasn't part of my caseload. Berm responds, well, it wasn't part of mine. I wonder what we're celebrating. Clerk Matchstein says, look, it doesn't matter. Lewis is yelling, invigorating! Berm yells to Lewis, did you catch anything, Lewis? Matchstein says, so, did you find what you were looking for? With Lula, I mean. It's a work in progress, says Shannon. Oh, I know what you mean. I've been working on, I think I will go for one on the beach as soon as I'm finished with this drink, yells Lewis. Clerk Berm says, try not to yell so loud, Lewis. And I hit a button and I don't know what happened. But Lewis is being crazy. Let's see, what else? Oh, Will's here. We can talk to Will somehow. These like triangle fires are perfectly placed. Will says, hello, hey, happy to be here. And now, I heard a shuffling. Are you dragging your feet or just joining the sand between your toes? Yeah, it's nice to slow down for a minute, says Shannon. We have time. Lots of glass here. Patch boys load the empties on the barge. I told them, try to keep it separate in its own little pile. That way, when we're disposing of it, any environmentally minded folks can easily set them aside for recycling. I love the river, but I don't care for the current. It's too relentless. Like Lake Lethe, one day, though it's calm and deep. At any opportunity, I'm ashore meditating. One day, I may be left behind. I wanted to ask you something. I thought of it earlier, but it didn't seem like the right time, and I'm sure you know what I'm getting at. Let's see. You wanted to know where we're going? The friend, the old man, or mechanical mammoth? He's already asked about that one, so I think he wants to know where we're going. Oh, no, I don't really think about that kind of thing, but I see you have a purpose. Well, the Echo carries pilgrims as well as drifters. I think you'll get wherever you're going. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, I guess so. Is that what you wanted to ask? No, it was, well, I forget it now. Typical. Well, gee, thanks. This is definitely better than the bar in Act 2. That was not a very pretty bar. That was an unpleasant bar. Okay, so we can talk to Sunny. Hey, did you hear the ice caps are melting? I mean the polar ice caps. The ones all the way at the top. Dawn says, don't listen to him, hon. He's all doom and gloom tonight. Don't listen! That's the answer. Dawn, well, what else can you do? Someday, all of this will be underwater, and we'll all be drowned. What can you do? Shannon responds, you can recycle? Half measures avail us nothing. Dawn, getting tired of this, says, don't be a pessimist, Sonny. Have another Mai Tai. To Shannon, she tells him, he's just in a dark mood because the bar is crowded tonight, and he likes to spread out. You know, an unidentified toxin has decimated the deer population, right? I should go. Sonny, you're insufferable. That's what I do. I just go, oh, we can talk to Dawn. An unidentified toxin. Well, that's his latest rant, but I'm not surprised about anything anymore. Before this, it was bovine growth hormones and global warming. No, he's harmless. I just don't know him anymore, that's all. He takes bits and pieces of things he reads and synthesizes them into some grand theory, and it's always the end of the world. But who could know that stuff, right? We can't even predict the weather. I mean, if you could take all these little pieces and predict how they're all going to interact, you'd know everything. I tell you what I'd do with that kind of knowledge. When I first met a man, I'd look at his shoes and the kind of books he reads and what he eats for breakfast, and I'd make darn sure we weren't doomed to spend our twilight years greedily emptying Mai Tais and arguing about an unidentified toxin. Well, you know what they say about hindsight. Here's to a better yesterday. Poor Dawn. Poor Dawn. That was a trip and a half for Dawn. Yes, cue Waterworld.
All right, let's talk to Patch. Patch says, "Oh, Junebug, just who I just saw like an hour ago." Let's see. Dee Dee. We were looking for Dee Dee in Act 3. Wasted. I sent him on his way. Why would you want to hang out with that guy? He's like family. Which is what they said at the beginning. I hear you. Gotta draw some kind of line, though, says Patch. Hey, any of your friends want a drink? I got time. Busy night, but everyone's deep in their straws by now. Junebug says, we'll pass. Take it easy, Patch. No problem. See you around. Alright, so that's Patch. Ezra's just running back and forth. Oh, here's Cyrano. Cyrano says, I am so glad to see you. These cokes are bumming me out, man. You see that guy in the sand over there? Rolled up, kind of off-center, you know? Kind of leaning on the stage here. And he was like, what kind of strings are those? Steel or nylon? Let's see. Johnny responds, saying, I'm sure you were cool about it. Oh, yeah. It's mandatory around here, man. It's what the people want. I'm just a humble artist, you know? Plus, it's better for the tips. You can't look like... Sorry, I feel like we just had a conversation with Drake about this. Dennis Hopper is Mad Max Pirate, and Kevin Costner's a CGI hairline. Plus, it's better for tips. You can't look like you care about it, you know? Even if it's your livelihood. The crowd can smell an economic precarity, and it turns them off. I guess it's no fun to give someone money if they really need it. Too much responsibility. I'm done. Drake, we just had this whole conversation about like people thinking this way. I guess it's no fun to give someone money if they really need it. I feel like I just said that yesterday. Okay. Not like for me. I just meant like we were just talking about like tips and stuff. No. We always go back and forth about like tips and like generosity and like what does and doesn't do it sometimes, or what people do take for generosity, what people take for responsibility, or what people do or do not feel like giving and stuff like that. So it's like one of those on and off conversations that we just not bicker. What's the word? We just kind of banter back and forth about them. I literally was just like, oh, did we just have this conversation? So if you work for tips, you should be like kudos to all of you, because there are many people that believe this sentence right here. It's no fun to give someone money if they really need it. So kudos to anyone that works in those fields, because it's no joke. Anyway, so Cyrano continues. Speaking of which, I'm about mid-set here. Can you take the can around while I play this next one? It's on tape. I think you'll like it, man. Thanks. $5? When do I have $5? She didn't have to do that. Had to hurt, but that's the way it goes. Steadying the unsteady. There's probably a $5 bill just floating up and down the river from a tip jar to a musician, to a tip jar to musician, like an eternal ferry of good intentions. We'll take the can around. $7.50 from this guy. These two are pretty reliable. Where does their money come from anyway? Government check, maybe? Nah. Then they'd only tip like that on the 1st and 15th. Maybe they fence stereos or something. So Tech Dude just told me on Discord something about myself I didn't even know about. I'm an ambivert? How did... You can breathe underwater. It's good to have you here, Mad Mad. Sorry. Oh, and ambivert? No, not ambivalent. An ambivert, kind of like you're both an introvert and ambivert. Like you flip between the two. Like an amphibian, actually. Like, not that they flip, more like they have the combination of an introvert and extrovert. By all definitions, technically speaking, I would qualify, but that would require me to believe that I'm really that kind of like one dimensional. It's one of those things where like I think everyone can qualify as an ambivert. Like, that's one of those words that I think makes sense, but at the same time, it's like Myers-Briggs more. Myers-Briggs more. Who is paying? Come on, I need more tips. Let's go run for more tips. Ah, $15. We need these guys. These kooks are really going for it. It's good. You can't always hope for much with these fly-by-night crowds. Could have been some deep tiki fanatics getting uptight about Cyrano's tape machine or something, but these folks in Taurus, wherever they go. More tips. More tips. That's complicated? Yeah. Do you have a tip? $2? This guy's barely there. He's like basically sugary wet sand until the morning. He left a couple bucks by his shoes here, or dropped it. That's probably for the band, if it's for anything at all. Alright, so we just took that guy's $2. Hopefully he doesn't need it for a cab ride home. And $0. Will has no money. Good for him. Ezra, do you got money? No, he's a child. Kazara loves Myers-Briggs. She has all the books. Man, Myers-Briggs. Like, okay, take that, leave it at the door. Don't even bring that in. Nothing like knowing that people are made up of 16 boxes. Patch says, what kind of yellow do we want? I'm still struggling to understand the stream and now have a migraine from a complicated game. I'm sorry. I don't mean to give you a migraine, but this is a stream that I wanted to get to the end of the story for. So unfortunately, coming in the middle of it, not a best. Patch says hi. Colin says, yeah, let me talk to Kathy, please. Let's see. I don't know Kathy. Okay, what does Kathy look like? Just sort of plump cheek. I don't know. Hard to describe now that I'm pressed on it. No, I don't see anyone like that. Did you check the stairwell, though? Kathy sometimes sits over by the stairwell. We're on a beach. No stairs, no stairwell, my friend. Well, that doesn't make any sense. How do you get up there, then? What? We're on the ground. I mean, from the other ground. Why are you being so dense? I'm looking for Kathy. Hey, man, I've got other things to do. When you see Kathy, just tell her I called, alright? Achievement unlocked. Patch speaking. Kazara, don't say I don't do anything for you. K-Dog, I have never said that. I have always said you have been like one of our strong supporters. No doubt about it. I mean, I do absolutely appreciate everything you do. But if it's giving you a migraine, please feel free to like kind of dip away for a second and come back. Or dip away and come back when I'm done playing this game. Alright, so let's see. Though I might not be done until... Is there anything up here? Can I go this way? Oh look, we can go all the way up to Tiki Torches. Let's see, I'm already at 1 hour 14. We're still in Act 4. I have a feeling I'll be doing this on Wednesday, so... Oh, I have a flashlight. Oh, what's that? A styrofoam cup is half buried in the sand, meticulously intact. It still has some coffee on it. Maybe it came from the bar. Or maybe someone dropped it here on their way to the bar. Maybe they weren't even headed to the bar originally, but they drank coffee too fast and needed a stiff counterbalance. Shannon thinks about the war of liquids in the stomach. Coffee to start a day, liquor to end it.
apple cider vinegar to patch up the battlefield. Her mouth feels dry. She thinks about all the nervous casualties of the liquid war, clumsy alchemists transmuting day and night. She thinks about chalky gray-pink liquid in her mother kept for upset stomachs. Pepto-Bismol. That was stored in a coffee cup too. Oh, gross. Mm-hmm. Good talk. It was, wasn't it? It's like, just tell her. Just tell her what I said. And this is where you find ravaged fishermen bleeding out on the beach, gasping for something about a great white. It does seem like it could be that kind of stream. Okay, let's see what else we can find. Oh, here's Conway. I thought he was dead. Not dead, like over there. There she is. You have to try one of these flower drinks. What, you don't drink? I feel like I could drink 100 of them. Not too sweet, not too strong, you know? A real session drink. Yeah, what's it called? I think you said it was well, how do you like that? I'll just show him the flower and another one of these, I'll say, and then I'll point to the flower. Maybe I'll wear it in my hair. It doesn't taste like a flower. I mean, not like a flower smells, you know, perfumed and sickly sweet, like a star thistle flower, you know. My dad was obsessed with those awful weeds. We had a small house leaned up against the hill. Every spring, that hill would explode with yellow star thistle. And he'd tear into them, angry. I mean, really offended by it. He said they were an invasive species, like foreign squatters on his land or something. I think he was such a stupid old man to take it so personal. Also, Conway has never spoken like this, ever. This is why Conway cannot drink. Uh-huh. After he died, even a few years later, I came by the house again. It was spring, and I didn't have a single yellow flower on that hill. He must have finally got him. Or they followed him home. More old stuff. I'm drowning in old stuff. Feels like I've got it piled up all around me. Like one of those old guys you hear about who never threw anything away. You know what I mean? Maybe you should slow down, is my exact thought process. But her second shot is, don't worry about all that stuff, just try to stay in the here and now, which is a really terrible thing to say to someone who is totally blasted because they're not really thinking of that hard. You should slow down. Oh, no. I don't think so. In fact, I could use a few more of these. Just take that book of matches to the room. That should clear everything up. You know what I mean? Sorry. I'm not making any sense, am I? I mean to say that I can't look at anything without remembering something else. And then that reminds me of something else. And I'm buried in it. I just need to get my head clear for a minute. Get a clear view of the day. Get oriented. There was a time I'd felt this way. I'd bite the bullet. I tried to sober up and get a job. Let's see. So her choices are, is that why you want to work for the distillery? I think I feel the same way. Maybe I'll find a new kind of work now. Or work is therapeutic for me too. Huh. Interesting. He kept saying how he needs to settle his debts, but he seemed very angry about it to me. At least that's how I read it. This guy with the large... Is this the guy with the large... No, this is Conway. This is our main character from, like, the beginning of the game. We've been talking to Conway the whole time. He's almost found out the meaning of life. Those flowery drinks clearly have, like, the edge as far as, like, they're just shy of getting you that answer. And it's also 42, by the way. Let's see. Is that why you're going to work for the distillery? Maybe it is. Seems like a pretty simple answer, right? Just
Follow the work as long as you can. you you got me all figured out. Okay. I'm gonna sit and look at the water for a minute. I'll talk to you later. Don't be a stranger. That man needs a moment. All right. Oh, there's more. Oh. What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? There's magic in the air. What's this? What's this? I cannot find. It was right here. Ah. Ah. Haha. Got it. Did I get it? Oh, I did get it. At first, Shannon mistakes the iridescent glimmer for a seashell washed up on the lake, maybe some freshwater relative of the abalone, even a pearl. But, wow, really? Okay. But it's only a trading card. It must have been valuable to someone, or it wouldn't be printed on this lustrous material. Whatever it was, it's mostly worn away. All that's left is the shiny backing and the word Gleaners Forward. Yes, you came in for the 2 times that this game has direct reference to you, Drake. You came in for the bear scene, and you came in last week, and you came in for the trading card on the beach. Of course you did. Of course you did. Of course you did. Alright, I think at this point I've actually done everything I possibly... Oh, nope, there's a drink here. An untouched drink sits on a table, forgotten or abandoned or simply just wasted. Sorry, Xander, you can't have that drink. I know, the fruity drink. Conway makes it look so good. I think this guy's actually dead. There's a bottle. Shannon finds a bottle. Its label is worn away, but the words Hot Hell Rum are legibly embossed on the glass. The bottle is empty, except for a sleeping crab. Alright, I think we can probably start heading back now. Junebug says, well, that was a pleasant detour. Yes, ma'am. To Shannon, she says, you ready to get moving? How about you round up the old man? See if you can tear him free. Alright, so we're gonna go get him. See if you can tear him free from the drinks? Did you hear him ramble? There's a lot of ramble that he put out there. The crab is getting wasted. The crab looks like he needs the drink. Yeah, you're right about that. I never quite thought of it that way. Who are you talking to? Conway, noticing Shannon for the first time, he says, oh! No, it's nothing. Hey, let's get out of here. Work to be done, right? Alright, so he's talking, and I hear the thing, and water sounds and a delicate synthesizer music. Crab's got to drink too, right? And he's got to drink the good stuff. Pedro's knows. Pedro was pointing out crab knifings all the time. Like, sometimes to relax the crab and put down the knife, you got to give it good drinks. I'll hold on a second, Xander. Let me just get to the next stopping point, and then I'll let you out, okay? It's easy to miss, but beneath that quarter-acre swarm of moths is the Brachyolomia conjuncta, the mottled dagger moth. Their diet is mostly constrained to lichen, but they make an exception for sunflowers. It's a quarter-acre sunflower orchard. Beneath that sunflower orchard, there are 2 small lots of houses, positioned so they just about butt up right next to each other. Yeah, that crab, exactly. The houses are empty of human life. There is no sign of a person or anything living except for moths and overgrowth. There are some pipes bolted to the cave near the perimeter, and a few stone scars where other pipes have been ripped away by scavengers. These once supported large grow lamps that fed the flowers. the lamps are gone now. Once this crop of sunflowers is picked away, it's unlikely anything else will grow here but lichen, moss, and rock formations. The mottled dagger moth will move on. The houses will be visible again, at least until somebody strips them for building materials or the river washes them away. The houses were once inhabited by two sisters. Why they built their houses so close together or lived in proximity at all is a mystery, since they clearly despised one another. Let's see. Some think they were tricked or reconciliation. Let's go reconciliation. I like the positive spin. It's possible the neighboring houses were an attempt at reconciliation. It didn't work. If anything, close quarters just turned up the pressure until those decades of closely held resentments and animosities were pretty near boiling over. All that energy had to go somewhere, and both sisters had the same idea. They took up gardening. They both cultivated sunflowers, an improbable crop for this location, too improbable to be a coincidence. Maybe the sunflower had some special meaning for them, or maybe one sister saw her rival sowing impossible seeds and knew at once she couldn't bear the thought of being outdone. Which sister had the greener thumb, we'll never know. The stalks tangled, the roots knotted, and the seeds mixed. Those dangly flowers merged the two lots into one undifferentiated field. The two sisters moved out, probably around the time the moths started showing up. Of course, there's no selling the lots then, overgrown and bug-chewed as they are. In fact, if those sisters ever tried to sell, they'd be in for a rude shock. Not long ago, the property tax, having seen the two adjoining lots registered to the same name, presumed they belonged to the same owner and erased the legal border between them. Oh God, so if they tried to sell, they'd be fighting who gets what. Oh, that sounds like the worst property tax fiasco ever. Valkyrie and Blue lounge behind on deck, or Clara, Kate, and I start to do some business by a telephone. You know what? As much as I like Clara, Kate, and I think we want to see the dogs. Valkyrie and Blue lounging below deck. Right, Xander? Right? We want to see the dogs. You want out. Act 4, Scene 5. In just a moment, we'll get to a stopping point. I'm going to put the Be Right Back screen on, and then we'll get him some water. The Mucky Mammoth. This is Blue, and this is Valkyrie. If they talk, I'm leaving. They were very cute, though. That was it. That was all we got. What a troll move by the city tax man. I know, right? All right. Give me 1 second. I am going to put the Be Right Back screen on. We let Xander out, get him some water real quick. I will be back in about a minute and a half. put my headphones back on so I can hear. And back to game on. All right, thank you for waiting. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Now I can. There, my ears are free again. All right, we can continue. So we are back on the River Echo, and he says, while those two gentle beasts kept things under control aboard the mucky mammoth, I went ashore with the rest of the crew to make use of a public telephone. I called to my answering machine, which I routinely neglect for intervals of months, to chip away at the pile. Kate checked in on a client of hers. She's a birth doula, in addition to being a tugboat captain. Did you know that? Clara talked to her sister in Lithuania. Illness in the family, I gather. Anyway, the evening hit a low point not much later on, so let's take a quiet moment here to listen to the river and reflect on the unburdened sleep of dogs. I approve of this. Taking a quiet moment to listen to the river. Where are we even going in this episode? Let's see. Ezra talked us a card game. Or as Shannon, Ezra, and the old man and I stopped at the Radvansky Center to make some quick cash. You're quick on the exclamation points for that one. I have a feeling, Drake, that you want us to know what card game got taught. I'm just making a general assumption. All right, then. So, here we go. We stopped at the Ravinsky Center. I'm kidding. Ezra taught us a card game. Act 4, Scene 5. The Mucky Mammoth. Okay. Relaxing synthesizer music plays on the radio. Clara draws a card. Mothman Solitaire. Oh God, no. Oh God, no. Clara says, 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Kate draws a card. 7 blue petals, 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Clara to Kate says, what are we listening to? Oh, this tape a friend of mine sent me. They live in the desert. The Sinks, something like that. Junebug says, sounds good on the Mammoth PA. Yeah, that's the only way I listen to anything lately. To Ezra, he says, your turn, buddy. Ezra draws a card. 9 gray feathers, 7 blue petals, 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Or... Sure. 9 gray feathers, 7 blue petals, 3 white doves, 8 deep breaths, 5 slow hours. I have no idea what's happening. Side note, we're just jumping into the middle of a card game. No, I do not know what this is. Let's go with the second one. Kate says, oh no, it was 738. Clara to Ezra says, oh, you're beaten at your own game. Will says, I'm glad it didn't come to my turn again. You took a bullet there, my friend. Deal the cards. You now have like a full use for that particular one. So he's either, it's a hard game, that's why I like it, or I was going easy on you. Ezra kind of seems like the kind of guy, he would be a good sport, but periodically would be like, I was going easy on you. Like that. And we're only, what? How many cards in now? 5 or something? I assume it will go to 52. It goes until everyone forgets a card. That could go on for a long time then. Well, not with this crowd, I guess. We're all too soggy-brained. I know I am. I even make homemade supplements for it. Shade-grown lichen boiled with the peel of a lemon, then frozen and crushed with oak leaves. It's a scalp oil massage. You can smell it if you get close. It dries the brain out a bit, which is helpful for good memory, if I can remember to use it often enough in the first place. I don't know where she even picked up that idea, but sure. If it helps with your scalp, vitamin E is probably better. Oh, don't worry, the soggy brain has its benefits too. If your brain is soft and damp, new ideas can make a clear impression, like a boot in a wet sand. But like wet sand, it can easily get muddied and washed away. So, see, there's a trade off. New ideas can make a clear impression, then it can get muddied and washed away. It's a choice, I guess. It's a shame we can't have it both ways, isn't it? No, you can have it both ways. You can have it both ways. You can. It's not you get a soggy brain and you're dumb, or you get a good brain and you're great, but you're pragmatic. You can be whatever, Kate. You do you. You do you, Kate. Clara finally asks, "What game is this called, Ezra?" "The forgetting game." Sure. I imagine it's kind of like concentration. So there you go, the forgetting game. Kate likes to give her passengers the opportunity to make some floating around money, and the lab pays the cash in small envelopes upon completion of their little gauntlet of non-invasive tests. It's a project of the university. I think they're studying... Oh, I don't remember. The mammoth also collects their trash, mostly shredded paper, though Kate says once they left a vending machine on the dock. But nobody seemed too interested in that lab to stop that night, so they stayed aboard and played a game. I read a book. Let me tell you about it. Let's see. Fantasy book. Let's go that. You can have a choice of starting in a small town in the Pacific Northwest, castle, or an office building. I'm going to pick an office building. Tough card game. It takes place in a castle. It's some sort of historic landmark being maintained by a bunch of college kids and aging social misfits. The main characters work in a gift shop. They're co-workers, Mimi and Jen. Mimi is older than Jen, but they seem to be at the same point in their lives. They like their work, they have a playful antagonistic relationship with their boss. I actually only read a bit from the middle. Let's see, Mimi confides in her friend about a traumatic event from her past. 2, Jen reminisces about a cat she lost track of. Or 2, the two had cause to reflect on their history of their work together. That seems silly. Let's go with the cat. Jen reminisces about a cat she lost track of. It's a sweet and uncomplicated passage. Human affection for animals is a good model for pure compassion. In my life's work as the Echo River's premier anecdotalist, I have always found that a carefully exerted moment is more powerful than any epic history. That's my excuse, anyway, for reading books from the inside out. So I stopped there. My eyelids were getting heavy, and we were heading back to the lake. A chance encounter with the Iron Pariah. And we just float on the river. We still have not actually found the zero in 5 streams. I thought we were going to get close, and then suddenly we have this. 100% detour from where I thought this whole game was going. There's some flotsam and jetsam in the streams. Let's see, we can take a nap or go for forage for mushrooms. We're gonna forage for mushrooms. We've been on a boat for a while. Act 4, Scene 6. A grove. A grove. Oh, it's a pretty grove. This chapter of this game is like a cruise. I wouldn't say the whole game qualifies as one, but this chapter does. All right. Oh, goodness gracious. There's two choices, but it's not the usual side-scrolling one that we see. So the first choice is this. She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she following directions. No smoking within 25 feet of the hospital entrance. Or choice 2. Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside and holds it up to Ezra to examine. Oh, so these are happening simultaneously. So this is a memory on the left, and this is what's currently happening on the right. She's picking mushrooms. This Kate loves mushrooms. She loves herbals. She loves all that stuff. So let's go with the memory instead. Oh, they do it simultaneously. Interesting. So the memory goes like this. Actually, let me do it this way. The modern day goes like this. Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up to Ezra to examine. Pleurocebelia porogens. Common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate, springy texture. They're tasty, like sweet moss. However, in her history, we see she lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions. No smoking within 25 feet of the hospital entrance. So she stood by a hot dog cart parked at the edge of the sidewalk. In the present, she asked, "Would you like a bite?" Ezra is adventurous, so we'll say, "Okay." Ezra takes a small bite and ruminates. Well, what do you think? Let's see. Is it supposed to be spicy? I think I got a bug. It tastes like moss. I'm curious. Is it supposed to be spicy? No. Go ahead and spit that out. It's okay, says Kate. My mushroom hunting mentor told me it's useless to pretend to know mushrooms. They escape your erudition. The more you know about them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. I cannot tell you how true that feels. I have studied mushrooms because I thought they're cool. And then suddenly, for some reason, when I'm like, oh, I can identify that, it's like all of it is like, wait, actually, I don't remember if I can eat that or not. Crazy, right? I'm like, I'm sure that's a morel. She taps the cover of a small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Kate points to a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Oh, here's an important one to recognize, though. Look, see the sort of greenish parlor of that cap? Amanita phalloides. That's Greek for amanita means mushroom, and phalloides means, never mind. And you can tell why she says it, right? Phalloides. We're talking to a young child. Okay, can you eat it? Only once. It's deadly poisonous. Death cap. That's the common name. It's killed a lot of people, this little mushroom, including a few Roman emperors. It's revolutionary. Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom when he was very old. That's just what they do, clear away old things and make room for new things. Pretty important, right? I've always thought they deserved a little more respect. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have a sort of shopping list. Yeah, death caps. Great. Look for, actually, just grab any mushrooms that catch your eye and throw them in this bag. Let me know when you're done and we'll see what we've got. Have fun. That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. The first rule is ask Kate before eating anything, okay? Let's see. On this side, where her memory is, Kate examines some tree roots. I'm picking that one. She spots a couple of intriguing growths along the roots of a tree, a speckled white ball and a cluster of softly growing amber caps. On this side, Ezra checks out a plastic bag that washed up on the island. The bag is ragged and waterlogged. He nudges it with a stick, coiling up the plastic thread and spreading it out on the beach. Kate's memory from the hot dog vendor comes back. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediately too personal questions. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe considered it part of his job. She thought to offer his customers some kind of counsel. Maybe it was to salve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside a hospital. Ezra's memory pops up next. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night, then slowly discharge it into his bones during the day, while the sun bounced feebly off the windows. But he liked to play in the woods behind the house. He'd taken a knife from the kitchen, selected it for its long serrated edge, meant for slicing bread. Its teeth had reminded him of a saw blade. He was determined to collect some firewood to heat the house. There are no mushrooms in the bag. Kate examples some speckled white ball. About the size of an egg, the mushroom has no visible stem. It seems to be attached to the tree by a sticky black substance ringing from its tiny pores. Gently pries the mushroom off the tree root and puts it in the bag. She then digs a bare patch of dirt. It's a bit muddy from flooding or general dampness of the caves. She finds two promising specimens, a spotted brown cap and a bundle of dark ridges. Ezra's trying to find mushrooms. There are no mushrooms in that bag, so Ezra closes his eyes and begins to listen to the water and the distant clicking of bats. Kate's memory comes back. Had she ever tried any alternative medicines? Acupuncture? Homeopathy? Ayurveda? Magical thinking? She said she'd never heard of any of those things. He fished a stray hot dog out of a pickle jar. Kate inspects the spotted brown cap. The bottom of the cap is covered in tiny tooth-like protrusions. She plucks it and puts it in her bag. Kate tries to wipe off some mud from her boot. And she yells over, "Didn't find anything?" That's okay. But Ezra's memory comes back. He tripped on a protruding root and lay in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm, then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end, and there was a bird. Kate's yelling, "Here's my haul." Kate takes out the spotted brown cap from her bag. Okay, this one is called Bitter Hedgehog, and it's on my list. It's great for nausea, which is basically the number one complaint of pregnant women I treat. You got the bird. Cute. It tastes kind of like black pepper. It's okay. I let it dry out so it's really tough, and then they chew on it like bubble gum. Kate takes out the speckled white ball from her bag. These are called bat eggs. See this gooey black stuff leaking out the side here? I guess somebody somewhere thought this stuff looked like an egg yolk, and it's black, like a bat. I mean, I'm kind of speculating. I don't really know why they're called bat eggs. They're not good for anything, really, and they'll give you a bad stomachache if you try to eat them. I just wanted to show you. Kate tosses the bat egg into the water. So, what do your parents do for work, or do you have a brother out there somewhere? I guess her first thing would be parents, because Kate is Kate. So she asks, what do your parents do for work, I mean? And Ezra responds, my dad used to sell windows. People were building a lot of new houses, and they needed a lot of windows, but then they stopped building houses. My mom worked at a bakery and a bar. Sometimes she would see the same people in the morning and evening. The bakery closed, and she doesn't work the bar anymore, but she still goes there to see a lot of her friends. Do you have family? Kate's first choice is, I almost had a baby once. Her second choice is, I left home when I was young. Not much older than you, actually. If I was Kate, I'd probably keep that unfortunate situation by myself and say, I left home. I left home when I was very young. Not much older than you, actually. And let's see.
She has two options. I bounced around from jobs and finally found my way down to Echo River, never looked back. Or years later, my mother got sick, tried to visit her, but too late. I'm going with that one. So I left home when I was very young, not much older than you, actually. Years later, my mother got sick and I tried to visit her, but it was too late. She was all spaced out on fevers and morphine. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot on the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me now. I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. Urza's choices now open up. Let's see. These are the only two trees here, or what's this island for, is the two choices. There are only 2 trees in this whole cave. Who planted them here? Kate responds, right, not many trees down here in the dark. I know these are some kind of cypress, and they were definitely planted here deliberately by someone who... I guess I don't know much about this place. I guess it's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something? Will would know more. Sorry. It's a mystery. And Ezra gets the dirt. Her memory pops up. Months later, she came across a book in homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. She thought it was mostly BS, but found the author's notes on unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling, spiritual even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes, never eating them, just collecting, identifying, and discarding. Eventually connected with the Lexington Mycological Society and began to study in earnest the medicinal uses of fungi. Ezra says, it's a mystery, continuing their current conversation. I'll search for clues. She put out her cigarette and said goodbye to the hot dog vendor and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors, trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to the mended. Ezra looks around the large stone monument. The monument is covered in lichen and painted text. Ezra reads the text. Rock graffiti, X+O, forever. He looks around the shore. He steps on a plastic bottle. A wooden post projects from the sand nearby. Ezra picks up the plastic bottle. There's a scrap of paper inside the bottle. Ezra takes it out and reads it. Message. Eggs, flour, Chardonnay, laxatives, paper towels, scratch ticket. Ezra inspects the contents of his pockets, and Kate yells, all right, what have you got? Oh, that stone-faced monument has X+O forever painted on it. Kate says, interesting. What do you think that means? Hug and kiss forever? There is currently a boat floating by full of cats. Or they could be initials. Xavier and Olivia forever? Xerxes and Oliver? Oh, what do you think that monument is for? Oh, I'm not sure anyone remembers. That's my new favorite rock. Wow, even better than the dinosaur rock? I think so. I found this message in a bottle. Looks like somebody's grocery list. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, he'll have some local history for us. We can ask him. Back on the boat. Kate and Ezra looked up at an old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is, the Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing. Let's see. Kate says, what do you think of it? Or I haven't much heard about it, but I heard things. So let's ask her. Let's ask Ezra. Let's see. We ask Ezra, what do you think of it? Ezra questions, is it full of ghosts? Oh, I don't know. Probably. I mean, no, definitely not. You do not believe in ghosts, do you? No. I've never met a young kid who really believed in ghosts. A lot of older people do, though. I wonder why that is. There you go, Civil War battleship, right here. I heard it was in the Civil War. That's the first choice. I guess they had boats full of soldiers and supplies going up and down the old Ohio River. And they fought on the river like boat to boat with cannons or something.
I guess. Machine guns? I'm no military historian, as you can probably tell. Anyway, I guess this one's just lost. Somehow ended up all the way down here. Maybe it slipped into a cave up north. They're all connected underground. There's another version of the story where it didn't get lost. It was just full of deserters and they came down here to hide. Maybe that's why it's a pariah. Civil War battleship. Let's see. Someone told me she got close to it by accident and heard a strange wailing sound. She was a passenger on the Mammoth. She said she'd been out fishing on a rowboat and got swept up by a curtain near the cluttered place. Before she knew it, the Iron Pariah was upon her, unimaginably massive, up close, but eerily silent. The only sound, she said, were the lapping of the lake water against its iron hull and a faint sort of, well, she called it a chorus of mews. Well, I'll be darned if I know what that sounds like. I'd never gotten close enough to the ship itself. More mysteries. They do pile up over time as people forget the details. Thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt for them. Ezra's memory pops up. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while. The one with the little arcade, with the card game he liked. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited or confused or scared, but he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, far above, from the clouds. And with that, we head back to the boat. It's time to go. Back on the river. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it is actually underwater. I haven't seen it for myself, but listen to this. It's man-made. The rocks weren't placed according to their size, so what's visible is more or less uniformly random selection of the overall shape. It looks like it might be a spiral, all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. At the head of its petrified oak stump, at the head of it is a petrified oak stump. That was moved here from above ground, of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Loch Lucks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers said they should just go with Loch or Luck, or split the difference with Look, or even Lick, or anything else. But it was never going to happen. Let's see, met in prison, high school sweethearts, met at the DMV. You know what? No one falls in love at the DMV. Let's give the DMV a happy ending. Billy Luck and W.H. Locke met in line at the DMV. Their driver's license photographs were mixed up by the clerk, a mistake they discovered immediately, but never corrected. Their engagement was welcome news for the family business, who had been looking for some opportunity to merge interests. Let's see, Locks ran a busy printing, bicycle, animal storage, nut company. Printing press. The MVA. The Locks ran a busy printing press, and the Lucks managed a fleet of bicycle couriers. The naturalist step was to start a local paper, what would become the Echo River Evening Record. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory, and it must have somehow involved these rocks. Let's see. Choice 1, spiral, symbol of the ever-tightening bond, boundaries between two families, inner loop, outer loop. Flip a coin, tails. Here. Probably the rocks marked the boundaries between the two families. Lucks on the inner loop and Locks on the outer, or the other way around. And it must have also involved that petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Let's see. Shannon helped me pick mushroom stew in the kitchen. Shannon and her friend helped the dinghy deliver a package at the telephone exchange. Telephone exchange. Act 4, Scene 7. I think we're going to go through that 3-hour mark here. Good thing I started a little earlier than usual. Echo River Central Exchange. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as a tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the bats. I usually send Will, but he's up to his elbows in mammoth grease right now. So you'll pass through the bat sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for, cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central, or excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30, they changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's on the other side of the bat sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, and I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested, but there is this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in, just before the Bat Sanctuary. I always recommend it to people. Stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of... I don't know how to say it, but you should check it out. Okay, bye. Oh, we should put the light on. Okay. So we're going to go through the Bat Sanctuary. We're looking for a memorial. No, I do not know how to drive this, by the way. The sign says, "We claim these helmets in the name of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of the power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they are washed clean and full of water too, and swept through the hidden tunnels into some awful cave we'll never find. And so we guess the water buried them let this here be the marker for their grave. And if any son of a gun from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen." Oh, is this... Oh, Pedra, if you're still here, this is the mine from episode 1. We've come full around, and Sam and Ida's is the name of the company that he works for, the antiques one. Ida's company. Also, have you actually played this before, Pedra? I have a feeling you've already done this. I'm getting the sense that you already knew what's coming. So my reactions are like, "Oh, here we are," and you're like, "Yes." Like super cool, like see. No, okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, cool. Okay. So this is the monument. So this is the cave, and Sam and Ida's on the other side. You know, the Sam and Ida that this old man said doesn't exist anymore, but apparently they're on the other side. So where the heck are we? So Conway says, "Hey, Elkhorn, that's the mine we met in, where your folks, they worked. Looks like it's been here a while. I'm sure as heck wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote this is still that angry?" She said, "I don't think you forget, or sure angry, mainly just hurt." I think... So Shannon's parents, for those who don't know, Shannon's parents died in this mine. This way, when the power company that they call it now, the Consolidated Power Company. Sorry, not Consolidated. You like it? It's a very cool story. Yeah, it's great. It's on PlayStation too, if you're ever curious about playing it yourself. I've missed several achievements, by the way. I can tell you that right off the bat. So if you're achievement hunting, you can probably find more stuff. I would probably be angry but hurt. Yeah, everyone's got their own way, I guess. This probably stirs up, I mean, how do you.
She says it's fine, or it brings bad anger for me too, or other miners made this, but it should have been the power company. It's their fault. I would say it's fine. We got things to do. It's fine. I'm glad this is here. People should remember remember this happened.
Well, here we are, remembering. And I didn't even know the first time around. But here I am remembering it now. That's a fine memorial, I guess.
Oh, look, there's your alien skeletons again. Hi.
What are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
Let's see. Sometimes I forget I don't know you that well. Are you feeling okay, or it's nothing? No, I like to speak my mind generally. Are you feeling okay?
Oh. Sure. It doesn't hurt anymore, my leg. It's just kind of numb, like it's not there. My shoulder, too, actually. That's an old one, though, from an accident. I'm lucky I had some nerve damage there. Probably would have been a lot worse. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they could even help me take care of these medical bills for my leg, you know? Get it all together on a plan, consolidated.
You know, like Consolidated Power Company. But that's neither here nor there. Coincidence, I'm sure. When did you talk to them about that?
Oh, they're around. They're pretty much everywhere you look on this river. You haven't really noticed? Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out.
Even for this delivery, even for me.
Hey, why not? Seems like we're getting close to finding your cousin, right? And besides that, you're young and smart, plenty of time to bounce back from whatever. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira.
Oh, it's Ira. Just kidding. I thought it was Sam and Ida was it, but it's Ira. Just kidding. It's Ira and Lisette. Whew. That would have been a little too much for me.
To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much, but somehow Liz got it into her mind that he would wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling that he did, or maybe his ghost could hold it over me, or just one more thing to make him feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery, and now that the antique shop is closing up, I've got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it.
Sure, I could keep an eye on it for you until you get it straightened out.
Sure. Okay, sounds good.
Sign. Visitors to the Echo River Nomadic River Bat Artificial Hibernaculium and Sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and spread white noise syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave or suspected host bats infected with white noise syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. Nomadic river bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or artificial light, be aware that it may attract and confuse the bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax, stop your vehicle, and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. All right, I'm ready. I am ready to turn off my light. I am ready. We slowly move through the trees. It looks like they have tree birdhouses on them. Some feeders. Bat fact. Do you ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they used their powerful ears to scan for echoes of these ultrasonic clicks by comparing very subtle differences in the time of these echoes take to come back, the differences of just millionths of a second. Bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, and so it needs to avoid running into anything, so bats keep clicking away, even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. I wonder how other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. I think when they're actually communicating, it sounds more like singing. I'd like to hear that, says Conway. Should we turn off my light? Ah, dark! I don't like it. Ooh, bat fat, bat fat, bat fat. The nomadic river bat's natural diet mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at Artificial Hibernaculum and Sanctuary, we use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasonic wards to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, which we call little gray nothing moth. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects at the nomadic river bat would have been eating are much relieved that their natural predator has found another food source. Not so. We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the nomadic river bat normally hunts to balance their escape from the food chain. But eating moths isn't the only systematic contribution these bats make. They also produce potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along Echo River shores of Lake Lethe. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on subterranean agriculture, we collect that precious guano at the hibernaculum and manually distribute it throughout the caves. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. It's all fake, except for the bats. Yeah, reminds me of that guy Donald and his crew down there with the computer. Right? Ah, it does. It is reassuring knowing someone's taking care of these bats. Yeah, who's going to build the people hibernaculum? Maybe we'll build it ourselves, or maybe we already did, like the folks in the mine. You said they used to buy stuff, fans, canaries, all those little trinkets, to make it bearable. Still a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered, but human. I mean, all people need is enough to pretend we're home. We can make it anywhere. You kind of get philosophical when you're drinking. Did anyone ever tell you that? Yeah, I guess I do. No, this is nothing. I used to have this drinking buddy who would get loaded and tell the weirdest riddles, like, which is more musical, a truck passing by a factory or a truck passing by a music school? Count your blessings. Oh, that sounds like an awful riddle. No, thank you. No friends like that, please. There's umbrellas in the... Why are there umbrellas everywhere? Oh, back one I'll pick up. Bat fact. Sign. Oh. White noise syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth which appears on bats' faces and wings irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting the stored energy they need to survive through the winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly and is highly fatal. In this way, white noise syndrome has drawn some comparisons to colony collapse disorders as suffered by bees. White noise syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and nomadic river bat be two lost species wiped out in a global geological blink and forgotten to natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified in time,
So the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope for preserving them. As you leave Echo River Nomadic Bat Hibernaculum and Sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. Oh, the skeleton alien people keep coming up behind, and it freaks me out. In a light way, not like scared, like not jump scared, just caught a little by surprise. If any of you are curious as to whether white noise is actually a real thing, it actually is. White noise syndrome is an actual fungal infection. You can commonly see them in bats. This is a weird tunnel. Flora? Hey, we saw her last week.
Oh, hi, I remember you.
What are you doing down here?
I'm just exploring. I like dark underground places. I'm a romantic.
Really? What does that mean to you?
It means I like poems and rivers and mysteries. Okay, bye.
How did she even get down here? Dashiel? Let's talk to Dashiel. Dashiel softly says, could be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce the noise. If your circuit's too noisy, you should tie those floating pins to the ground. Huh. That's a pretty good idea. They're probably picking up all kinds of radio interference. Dashiel Morse, pleased to meet you. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't become a source current. The new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack? I'm a bit of a circuit geek myself. Oh, I bet. I mean, you seem very comfortable with electronics. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes haven't quite adjusted to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid, for one reason or next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true. They had bats then too, but they were considered a nuisance. A train station? What happened to it? There's horror movie issues and not horror, no. Well, the river shifted and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty and they moved the phone company here. I returned here as a young lineman, and a skill I picked up in wartime, running telephone wires behind enemy lines. Used trees instead of poles. I missed that, actually. They were easier to climb. It's just as well I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get is patching up the wiring in the crystal room with the WEVP quotes. WVEP. That's community television. The community television we saw in my second stream with Emily and the leaky roof. Yeah, WEVP. I volunteered there for a number of years. I know everybody there. Ralph, Sherry, Weaver, Dave. Weaver Marquez, who we've been looking for 4 streams. Sure, Weaver Marquez, that's funny. I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all that gear, though. She had the head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in the WEVP, you should talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo, and there's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything, just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this old darn ringer. Puppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice talking with you. Oi. Oh, a plaque. It says, Abel and Eloise, lovers, couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft, but old habits were hard to die, and Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground and trash, and even pull them out of pockets and deliver them to other people nearby, to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation, and that's where we left them. Aww. That's so cute. See, not horror story at all. Abel and Eloise bird pigeons. Just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie, thanks. Well, actually, wait a minute. Who does that parcel claim to be from? Did we actually get a label for it? I don't think it said. That's weird. There's no label on it. Well, if we're lucky, it's chocolates from a secret admirer, not a snake from an assassin. So, who are you? Do you work for the post office or the tugboat? I only ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that at you I heard chatting down the hall? I'm just doing Kate a favor, dropping off this package. Kate! I love Kate. She helped deliver both my nieces, one in the hospital and one at the base of a mossy moonlit oak. It was beautiful. I love Kate. I think Loretta's granddaughter used her too. Oh, Loretta used to work here. Actually, I think I got a few of our former operators that have relied on that on some time from Kate services. Kate delivers babies, in case we're confused. Well, now I see they have more time with their little ones. As you can see, all their chairs are empty. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Agna, Meg, Kara, Marie, Louise, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college, and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller, but he had it coming, and I hear she did just fine on her own. So they hired Beryl, Jana, and Sachiko, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. The power company came along, buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing. Nothing! And they started phasing us out. Ed, nah. Meg, Kara, Louise left one Friday evening and were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at a private BPX. PBX. They had Jana and Liz stop routing calls and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sachiko and Wilma moved into energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell, and hard on the throat. The voice with a smile became a croak. I was gargling warm spot water in the break room, sipping thermos full of hot honey broth under my chair. Oh, I bought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard those days. Sounded pretty good to me. Yeah, I'm impressed. So where was I? Hot honey broth and salt water? Right. A healthy dose of slippery elm. I got that one from Kate. So after a few months, it was just me. New automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch Number 30. If it's automated, what do you do here? It's not fully automated. There are still gaps in functionality that need a human touch. And, you know, it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration. Touch you feel in your ear, so my voice is my touch. When we're talking, we're touching. Even on the phone. That's an electronic touch, an intimate little shock that makes your tiny ears tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating the old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays, but then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades, and the specific tempo is human operators. So Short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they have to work out the exact same timing for every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that, officially, is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange. One work of 12, I'd like to remind you. They'd have some kind of machine over there that tracks how long it takes to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator light switches on, and I make the connection. Do you miss talking to callers? You know, there's something that bothers me about the process, besides the fact that I'm training my replacement, who isn't even human. Here's what I mean. How long do you think it should take to time every move and recreate that timing in an automated switchboard? Rough estimate. At least a month? That's what I said, but this has been going on for over a year, and a very dark thought has started to nag at me. What if there's no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's just cheaper to keep me here, filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? I feel like this is starting to delve into some of the territory that we've been talking about, guys. All right, why don't you just quit? In this economy? Yep, there it is. No, you're probably right. Working in silence for peanut shells, waiting to be replaced by a robot, doesn't sound very dignified, does it? It's the reality that I've been working here my whole adult life. I came here as a girl, and I'm ready to leave a middle-aged woman. I don't even know if I'm ready to be her yet. Oh, the parcel. Right over here, by the lamp is fine. Thank you for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. The 0 is always popping up. No. Conway? No. Whoa. Conway. Whoa. Conway. Whoa. Whoa. What? What? That? What? He just left. And he left the skeleton. All right, we're back on our tugboat. She returned on the dinghy alone. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where the impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. Let's see. She met some people, so let's pick 1 through 4. She met a flower salesman on a raft. They floated alongside in buoyant pots, bobbing untethered. He corralled them with a long pole and a stream of small adjustments. She leaned over the water to take a closer look. He had just started work for a day, so his stock was full. He pushed a few bouquets her way. First was a rustic bundle of mums. He suggested it would make an appropriate apology bouquet. Next, a simple mixture of snapdragons make it look wild. She thought it looked eager, and he agreed. Finally, a rustic mass of blue-petaled flowers in many different types. He said it was for a particular kind of person. If it didn't remind her of anyone specific, she'd better move on. He drifted away with the current, pushing flowers along with the raft. She met a family of 5 on the flat-bottomed skiff. The boat was loaded to a capacity with black plastic bags and a few larger pieces of furniture wrapped in blue tarp. 3 paddled, 2 adults and the older child. The 2 younger children slept. They'd been traveling all night, first by car, and then for the last few hours by boat. Hungry and tired, they didn't plan to stop until they reached West Virginia, where a relative had offered to take them in. But the adults were happy to take a break from paddling in weary silence. They asked her about her river journey. She told them about the memorial. They were sympathetic. No minors in their family, but he was once injured at a warehouse job, and he had to fight for disability pay. They knew what these companies were like and what it was like to have to assert your humanity to them. They wished her well. and paddled on their way toward West Virginia. She met a guitar player pedaling floating bicycle with his dog in tow. He said they took turns. The water was cold and the floating bicycle, while technically marvelous, wasn't quite buoyant enough for the both of them. Swimming was hard work. The hardest work the dog had ever done, he expected. They'd been traveling this way for most of the night, struggling through the icy water, stopping to recover when they could find a rock large enough to start a small campfire. He had his belongings stuffed into a weathered guitar case at the end of a thin rope. It floated pretty well, so he only had to keep an eye on it occasionally, free it from a rock or some driftwood it was caught on. She asked if he had a guitar in his case or just closed. He would have played her something, but the case leaked a bit, and he didn't think it would sound right until it had time to dry out. She gave in, shut the motor, and floated for a while. Then she knew what she had been craving. A moment of silence. No goodbye, he just left. Making our way to Sam and Ida's, I think. Floating, really. We're coming up on what looks like a building. Excuse me. Or is that a bell? Act 4, Scene 8. Sam and Ida's. What's this? A submarine? Sam sings wordlessly to himself. Oh. A diving bell. Hello up there? Headed up or down? I'm just looking for the crew of the Mucky Mammoth. Yes, ma'am. They stop here every morning. I expect they're upstairs. Now I just got the coffee going. I could use a cup myself. It's cold down there. Well, head on upstairs. She'll take care of you. I'll be along in just a minute. Okay, so we'll head upstairs. Yeah, you're right. A diving bell. Oh, they're all here. Just in time. We just finished eating, but are about to place a to-go order for Clara. She's back on board getting ready for her show. Take a look at the menu. I'm sure there's something you'll like. Ida is a bit of a local celebrity for her cooking, says Kate. Junebug says, hey, Ezra was just asking about Ezra. Ezra's just asking about you. He's around the corner playing a video game. Maybe let him go know you two are back, or... Where's the old man anyway? Oh, bad luck. You'll get it next time. But to Shannon, he says, oh, hey, got a corner? He's almost got this. It's true. Sure, I have 1/4. Oh, thank you, says Ezra. So, where's...
They took him. Of course they took him,
Oh, he really got himself in a situation there.
says Johnny. Yeah, I'm gonna sit down.
Cool. Oh, the food is good here. I think everyone's finishing up, but you could probably get something to go. All right, Claw Maestro, let's give it another shot. Let's see what's on top of that pile here. There's that big stuffed octopus, a plastic full of clamshells, a cowboy hat, and some big headphones. The octopus has a leg around the boombox underneath it. The shells are pretty clear, but I don't know if the claw can really grip that bag well. The cowboy hat's in the corner, so it's kind of tricky to tell if it's wedged in or not, and those headphones might be a good bet. But I can't see a cord. Could be wrapped around something.
The science of the claw machine is legit.
What are you going to try for?
Octopus. Let's gamble. All of them. Eeny, meeny, miny. No, we're going to try for the octopus.
Wow, all right, I admire your confidence. Okay, when I put this quarter in, you have about 8 seconds to grab your prize. All right, the octopus is square in the middle. Let me know if you need help lining it up. I've got a slightly different view of the field from up here. Ready? Here we go.
He inserts the coin. The machine awakens. 8. The claw hovers in the front left corner of the machine. Front left corner. Right. We're going to go push the joystick right. 7. Halfway across the front of the machine. Up. We'll push it up. We're going to push it up. We're going to push it up. Push it up. 6. The claw hovers in the center of the machine. We're going to ask Johnny. But I feel like I'm in the center.
Does this look right? Yeah, it looks good to me. Go for it.
5. All right, here we go. Drop the claw. The claw dropped. It grabs the octopus! The octopus is attached too securely to the beneath the body. It slips from the claw's pass. Oh, it missed.
Yeah, I had a feeling that octopus was a little too comfortable in there. Hey, listen. It sounds like that old man you were following around him. I guess he had to leave.
Is he coming back?
Well, probably not. He's got himself on a trajectory, you know?
Should have gone for the clams, by the way. Madness.
Anyway, I don't know what kind of plans you have now, but if you need help figuring out your next move, you can always talk to me and Miss Junebug. I just wanted to make sure you know that.
Urza is the one whose family left him. I don't know what the best choice for that child would be. He could go back to the museum. That would definitely be a safer place for him. And he's got work that helps him to get outside, go to the forest and back. I'll put him in the second one. I'll meet up with Julian when we get back above ground and go back to the museum.
Oh yeah, he's your brother, you said, right?
Julian is a giant bird.
Hey, maybe we have time to poke around this place a little. They have some pretty wild stuff in here.
Yeah, it is tough. And I was like, I guess it could make him go with, but at the same time, like moving around, not so much. At the very least, I know for a fact he'll be safer in the museum.
Hey, did you see this? They keep a table full of fake food over here. I have never known why. Actually, I think it might be real food covered with shellac or something, preserved. Oh, and look at this tentacle-looking thing, half eaten. Is this someone's meal they didn't finish?
I dare you to take a bite.
You first. Okay.
And that's why Johnny and Junebug can't have this job.
Whoa, hold on, I'm kidding. If Sam and Ida preserved his half-eaten meal, it must have been pretty important to them, right? Maybe it belonged to someone they care about, like a beloved uncle who had a mid-meal stroke, so they keep it in his memory.
Which is weird. My folks left behind a bag of sunflower seeds, but I threw it away. Should I have kept it?
Oh, No, I didn't mean that. You don't need to hang on to every little memento. I'm sure you still remember them just fine. Are you worried about them?
I think he's worried about them because he kind of keeps bringing them up like they'll come back. At the same time, he's also always got this kind of sense that this is his life now at the museum. I think I'll go too. I'll make Ezra very strong.
No, they're gone. There's nothing to worry about. I just missed them. Okay, well, I don't know what the deal is with this table, but sometimes people do weird stuff because they miss someone.
It is weird to have a half-eaten tentacle. Weird. Somehow I thought it was his truck, delivery and all. It was. That's what she's saying. But he gave it to her before they took him away. Kate says to Shannon, says, but you're going to deliver it anyway? Why? Someone's waiting for those antiques. Have you got a name or an address? Or maybe it doesn't matter. Even having discharged all of whatever it is into whatever lot, I'm sure you still have fulfilled your friend's obligation, says Will, trying to convince her. Junebug says, Johnny and I will help you unload it when we get there. Lift with your legs, Cricket.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how was everything?
To Junebug, she says,
Oh, how was the sweet cave snail?
devastating. You're a killer, Ida.
Well, I can't take all the credit. Sam came across the whole cave snail colony down there about a year back, and we've been leaving rock candy for them to gorge on since. We just started harvesting earlier this month. Yes, it's all about patience down here. Everything grows more slowly in the dark. There's a fish in Lake Lethe that lives 200 years, and its flavor profile only develops at about 75. I've got a pot of bones in there that's been stewing for at least a week. I don't even remember why I put them on. Come to think of it, I don't remember what kind of bones they are. Oh, we need one for the road. Clara said she wanted, something primordial, she said. What does that mean? Kate reviews the members to see. Primordial. Simple, old-fashioned, something deep from the lake. So, eBay. I know what you're referencing. No. Let's see. Must have meant something simple. It's not old-fashioned. Primordial usually means like something grandiose, I believe, or something simple, something basic from Prime Times, if I recall. I could be wrong. Simple. Ah, could be. All right, she hands Shannon the menu. Here, you pick. I'm no good at this. So we look. How about, let's see. Balsamic carrot is boring. Oil cavefish with small salad and scallop. Blind prawn cakes with cranberry butter sauce. What kind of place is this? Spicy blind salamander and rice. Barnacle cauliflower soup. Mussel hot pot. Good choice. Your friend will love it. I'll have that right out, sweetie. Mussel hot pot, delicious. Can't get simpler than that. Ezra leans over the table and examines carefully preserved food and drink. He prods the half-even tentacle, because that's where we're at today. The tentacle is solid and fixed in place. We used to steam those, juicy, but I prefer them smoked now. You're back. Welcome back. Pedro, did you see before you left, did you see what happened to Conway? Before I continue? Need to hydrate anyway. Did you see what happened to Conway? Okay. So, did you see the part we had to deliver a package from the tugboat? You know, we were driving on the river and we went through the boat. You were there for the bat sanctuary. Well, we got to the consolidated power auxiliary thing number 30, and we went to deliver the package, and we talked to someone there that was working,
And then we finally got through their conversation about how consolidated power took over everything. And then we went to go back to the tugboat with Conway, and he turned into a complete skeleton and got taken by the other two alien skeletons. I don't know if it was taken. I mean, it could be that he left of his own accord. He did sound like he wanted to go anyway, but he was just gone. So he turned into an alien skeleton himself and traveled on the other skeleton's boat, and we ended up going to this place here where we're at now by ourselves. Excuse me. Didn't mean to burp into the microphone. All right, so back to the restaurant where we left off. Ezra is poking tentacles. So everybody with debt are skeleton. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Everyone that's got a debt to pay is a skeleton. Why he has a debt is I still kind of bonkers, but maybe we'll get an answer as to why on earth it happened that way. Who knows? Let's see. Whose food is this? Asked Ezra.
Oh, this is the diver's table. This was the diver's meal. This food is about 15 years old. It's true. Things were different then. Nobody came to eat here. We were fighting just to keep the lights on.
Eating noodles and questionable things. We're not eating these just yet, but we're there.
Sam, my husband, Sam was depressed. He couldn't catch anything. That was part of the problem. Most of what we served was shipped in frozen or dried. I just threw it in the fryer. We've both come a long way since then. Well, 2 young men came in for dinner, seasoned divers. They said over 10,000 hours between them in Lake Lethe alone. They said they'd been out all day salvaging parts for a riverboat wreck and had worked up a fierce hunger. They said they ordered the whole menu without even looking. It was a short menu in those days. I sat them right there and went back into the kitchen. Sam was in the next table doing a Sudoku and drinking malt liquor, his usual routine at the time. An hour later, I was cleaning up and Sam came bursting into the kitchen. "Ida," he said, kind of frantic, "these divers are still hungry. Bring them another course." I said they already ordered the whole menu. Sam said, "Make something new. Keep making up dishes. Whatever it is, just keep making food." So I did, until the small hours of the morning. I made up so many new dishes that night I could write a book. And it was good, inspired. But I was working so hot and fast at the burning edge of inspiration, I didn't think to write any of it down, so I was so wrecked with the exhaustion the next day, I knew I couldn't remember all what I had done in the kitchen. Sam thought we could take a photograph of the leftovers, but we couldn't get the lighting right, so we just shellacked the whole table. Now, when I need inspiration for the menu, I come and look here and think about all those ingenious dishes I threw together for those divers. Of course, they didn't pay their full bill. I heard one of them complaining to the other, "Let's just pay half and let them charge the other half to whatever demon in the kitchen kept making food faster than we could ask for it." But it all worked out. Things really have turned around since then. This place is actually pretty popular right now. The success, our expanded menu, inspired Sam too. He started bringing back the most magnificent ingredients from his nightly dives. I'd better get to work. Stay right here, sweetie, and I'll bring you a treat on my way back.
I don't like thinking they become slaves. I don't either. It certainly seems like they do, but the difference is in comparison to the ones that got taken from the store, from the whiskey place, the bar. Remember in Act 2. It seems like Conway went on his own accord. If we remembered him talking this whole time, like he sounds like he's wanted to just go, get rid of it, be done, give up. That's my thought anyway. Sam says, "Well, buddy, I guess you're the catch of the day. One and only. So what are you? You look like, well, some kind of fish, I guess. Kind of a mopey little guy. Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. You smell like kind of dusty, dry. Where the heck have you been swimming? Skin feels like sandpaper. Huh. Well, she'll figure something out. I think I'll call you Sandpaper Fish. Well, welcome to Sam and Ida's, the only one and only Sandpaper Fish. I hope you enjoy your stay. Not too much. Have you ever seen a creature like me before? You were pretty far down there. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the first, except there were 2 divers who went before me long ago. Maybe that was before your time. How old are you anyway, I wonder? They ate here once back in the bad old days. 2 young guys. Could have been brothers, maybe. I was over in the corner with my coffee and crossword. Hadn't been able to catch a thing, so I just fired up from frozen. Well, these guys were hungry enough to eat it and asked for more. And they did at least as much talking as eating. See, like I said, they were divers. And like I said, they might have been brothers. They had a kind of a rivalry going on or something. I was about to write up their check, but I slipped calmly into the kitchen for a minute and told her, just keep bringing out food. Figured they wouldn't notice. Caught up in their boasting as they were and wanted to listen. They went back and forth for hours, all the deep and dangerous dives they'd been on, new tunnels they discovered, all the weird creatures they'd encountered, and the weirdest depths of Lake Lethe, and it was like the dance. No, like a boxing match. Each story went deeper than the last, and I listened to every word of it, memorized every description of every tunnel, every driving route they discovered, and that's my map now, you see? For 15 years I've been using routes those two young divers discussed right here at that table. Yeah, I could write a guidebook to the depths of this lake, but I don't dare. Someone would steal my good diving spots, and then where would we be? Say people come here from all over just to try our daily catch just because they know it's unique. Ain't you proud? Since I can't write any of it down, I just preserve it at that table where they had their meal so I can look at it and jog my memory like they were eating pickled crab when they talked about that shipwreck full of salamanders. Pretty clever, right? My own secret code. Well, I'll be straight with you, sandpaper fish. There is one feature of this arrangement that I find unsettling. In fact, I lose a decent amount of sleep over it. I told you those boys were competing, right? One-upping each other, I mean. Getting wilder and more adventurous as they traded tales. Well, I navigate mostly in the dark down there, just going by touch and the kind of mental picture I can construct from their detailed boasts. And every time I explore a new diving spot from those recollections, I have to weigh it all against the risk that I'm headed right into dangerous falsehood. One of those men could have felt for a moment like he was losing some of their ground in their duel and could have slipped a fake one in there and maybe told a fib about some dive he went on or found a colony of blind shrimp living in a discarded refrigerator. And then I'd get down there and I'd be my diving bell cracks on the sharp rocks where he said that fridge would be, and that'd be the end of Sam and Ida's. To be honest, that possibility puts fear of death in me every time I touch the water. But he caught the fish.
Hey, Sam, good haul tonight?
We'll see what she can make of it. Yeah, pretty good, I think. I hit some trouble down by the narrow tunnel. Some kind of fast-growing freshwater barnacles just about sealed it up. I picked away for half an hour before I gave up, went around the other way. But I got the catch of the day. That's the important part. That's what people travel for.
Are there a lot of fish in this lake? Seems so quiet, asked Shannon.
Yeah, there's a fish or two, not many. It's not like a surface lake where you got sunlight propping up the food chain. Life down here grows slowly, patiently, quietly. Will you stay for a drink? I got dark rum that goes well with coffee.
Let's see. I think we're about to leave, but thanks.
Just passing through. Hey, aren't we all? Oh, she's got your food ready. Y'all enjoy your meal, all right?
Thanks, Sam. Sam's great. Sam talks a lot. The Bedquilt Ramblers play This World Is Not My Home.
This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. My treasures and my hopes are placed beyond the blue. Many friends and kin have gone on before, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do? Angels beckon me to heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home.
I do like the soundtrack for this game.
Anymore.
Very unique, I think. Very atmospheric. Purgatory. Oh, wow.
Up in glory land, and I don't expect to stop until I shake her hand. She's waiting out for me in heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore.
All right, let's head on out to the tugboat.
Oh Lord, you know I have.
All right. She gets back in the tugboat after getting her stuff. See that? Just looks like a swirling mess of garbage, doesn't it? Well, that's what it is. I don't know why trash needs to collect right there of all the spots in the lake. It's always been that way. Everyone just navigates around it like it was an island or something. Look closely, you can see some wood scraps from the old canoe rental shop. Gemini, Canoe and Firewood. The place was run by twin sisters, Cassie and Paula, I think this was, years ago. They used to rent out canoes to tourists, campers, pilgrims, folks like that. They must have had some kind of deal with the distillery. You'd always see a couple of Hard Times boys posted up on the dock, peddling small bottles to their customers. Hard Times, by the way, for those who do not know or who haven't been here since the beginning, Hard Times is the one that collects debts that you've been hearing a lot about, like people trying to collect their debts. They're the ones that collect debts. They're the ones that indenture, or even worse to some extent, enslave people to pay off their indenture set debts. They're also the ones that just took Conway earlier tonight. Paula, I believe is from Act 2, the first time we played it. Cassie and Paula worked those old canoes to death, wrung every penny out of them. They'd only take out of commission what was truly, demonstrably dangerous, and you couldn't get a refund unless your boat was visibly taking on water. The side business in firewood was a stroke of minor genius. Yeah. This colored paste makes a recent local museum. It's as good a history as I could ever tell. We arrived at a small houseboat neighborhood that sometimes hosted concerts for pleasure of its residents, where Clara was scheduled to perform. Let's see, Ezra stayed to help with her performance, or we watched a show from the dockyards. We'll help with the performance. Those are a little easier voices to do. Act 4, Scene 9. The Mucky Mammoth. That was a very special tape player you have there. It can play forwards or backwards or slow or fast. You may discover some completely new sounds tonight, Ezra. So, are you ready? Yes. Excellent. I can tell you have a good intuition for sound, and that's very important in this piece. Any questions before we begin? Yeah. How do I know what to do? Play your tape player. You may play any tape at any speed, volume, even backwards. Just listen to the music and use your intuition. Or it may be better if you try not to listen to the music. This technique is called interdeterminacy. Let's see. What will it sound like? There's only one way to find out. What's the name of your music? It doesn't have a name. Would you like to name it? It's better without a name. I agree.
All right, let's begin. All right, we have cat, Kekyon kombucha. It's cat. I like that better. Let's see. We can play it without interference, just straight up meowing. Slowly and then speed it up. Restlessly with the volume knob. Tape backwards, which honestly, cat meowing backwards sounds demonic. Volume knob on and off rhythmically. Let's try the second one. Slowly at first, but gradually speeds up. Let's try that. Tape recording of a cat purring, while Clara plays theremin music. We'll do more cat sounds. And play it backwards, because it's a theremin. And I forgot. It feels a bit like theater, the FF9 with the theater ship. Oh yeah, you're right. All right, what's Kekyon kombucha? Rhythmically, kombucha on and off sounds good. I kind of want this song to be done. No offense. I actually do enjoy I do respect the ability to play a theremin. It just sounds like I'm constantly being bombarded by B-roll 80s, like 80s, like 50s alien music. It's just what it always feels like to me. Like in my bones. All right, no interference, cats. Also, she's playing the same thing over and over again. But now with different cats. XCOM. Oh, it's over. She says, thank you, Claire. Thank you, Ezra. Was that okay? Oh, I don't think I understand your question. I was just pressing button, but you sound like a theremin scientist. A scientist? Oh, no. But like a scientist, I experiment. Unlike a scientist, I have no hypothesis. I try not to be attached to outcomes. Does that make sense? My violin teacher used to tell me how to play like a tourist. Act as though you've never been there before. I hope you'll continue to make tapes, Ezra. I'm sure there are many more people who would enjoy listening to them on this river or elsewhere. Back on the water again now that her concert is finished. I met a photographer once. I mean, one in particular. She even took my portrait. I can't imagine why. She said she would immortalize me. That was a metaphor, of course. She meant I'd never be forgotten. As she was disembarking not far from here, actually, the film fell out of her bag and was borne away by the current. I was working at the deck at the time. She shot me a sad, apologetic glance, but I wasn't bothered. It's no shame to be forgotten. Our passengers, 2 lighter, disembarked at the mail stop at the silo. They couldn't seem to get that old truck started up again, but we managed to roll off the barge with only a minor scrape or two at the last minute. Clara decided to travel with them for a while. Kate and I said goodbye to our friends, new and old. The mucky mammoth rambled on down the echo. Act 4, Scene 11. Did we do 10? Silo of Late Reflections. Probably better than the silo from the Simpsons movie. Echoing unintelligible voices. What happened to Blue? Where is Blue? Oh, maybe Blue stayed on the boat. Blue was Conway's dog, remember? And then Conway went to the distillery as a skeleton. And then Blue, I guess, decided to stay on the boat. Kind of sad, really. Clara says, "What is this place like? Dogwood Drive. It's in a small town, or...?" I really don't know. I've got the manifest that the old man had in his truck here. You remember Blue? Yeah. I'm hoping that they just decided to keep him on the boat and have him be like a relaxed dog with Valkyrie. All right, the manifest says, Lissette's Antiques, mail order delivery, no return addresses, shipping address, 5 Dogwood Drive, packing list, and then it's just numbers. I guess the inventory of the antiques he was supposed to be delivering. Anyway, I'm glad you're coming with us. Yes, I'm always eager to see more of the country. I enjoy the company. I will have to find a bus or train to get to Nashville by evening. Well, they have buses everywhere, right? Or, hey, I could drive you to Nashville. It seems like I have a truck now. Only, how are we going to get it up these stairs? Junebug says, that's quite a staircase. Is there something we could do with rope? Sure, I can think of a few things. Nothing that'll get that truck up the staircase, though, says Junebug. Looks like we're making the rest of this trip on foot. I don't even know what's in there. What if it's too much to carry? No, we've been loading and unloading gear since the stars were young. We're our own roadies, remember? We've got expertise. Also, I don't care what they're saying. Anyone that's ever worked as a musician that does their own unloading knows it sucks malarkey. Loading and unloading is the worst, especially when you have like a full kit. Like when I had my full like 5-piece drum set, like the big Tama ones and whatnot. Oh, unloading that and reloading that was just the worst. To Johnny, she says, like it's okay. All right, Cricket, let's get this delivery packed and tied into bundles. We're hiking it upstairs. What's in there? Says Ezra. Antiques, I guess. Antiques. Yeah, antiques are... It's like junk, but people will pay for it. Oh. To Clara, Shannon says, sorry, I guess you'll be taking the bus after all. It's okay. It will be an adventure. Shannon sighs and stretches. Junebug notices. Tired? Don't worry, lady. We're almost there. And even worse, do you see the staircase? Can you imagine being like a guitarist or anything like that and hiking it up the spiral staircase? I think
not. I've done a lot of gig unloading and loading in my day. This, I would have to add more to the labor cost because no, no, no. End of Act 4. We did it, everyone. We got to the end of that vignette. Act 4 achievement unlocked. Huh. So, the question is, next time I stream this, what comes next? Is it this one? No, take a look. The bobby pin doesn't work. The next one will actually be Act 5, and then I guess this opens up. Interesting. So we'll see. I'm predicting if it goes anything further like this, that we will probably have another couple streams of this. So I'll be back on Wednesday. There's 2 more chapter 5. So there's chapter 5, there's this point here, Act 5, and then there's this point here, Act 5's title. Right? Act 1 title was Limits and Demonstration. Act 2 was the entertainment. Act 3 was Here, There, Along the Echo. Act 4 was called Un Pueblo de Nada. Now we have Act 5 and a crossed out title that we haven't accomplished yet. We haven't done it. So we got to do that next. So I think Wednesday will probably be Act 5. And if Act 5 is relatively short, we'll go into the other part of it. But we'll see how it goes. We will see. Thank you all for joining. I thoroughly appreciate it, but now I need to give myself a vocal rest. So I will be back on Wednesday with more Kentucky Route Zero. I look forward to seeing you all there. As always, stay safe. Have a wonderful start to your new year, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Oh my gosh. Literally was not expecting anything in this game. Whew. It is no joke, this game. Good night, everyone.